DigiVerse leader. You should have thought of that.
I mean, like, I had an idea, but whatever.
I don't even know your name.
That's true. You don't know my name. All right, so let's...
Who are these mysterious people bouncing to the left and right of me?
We'll find out. Just give me a second. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the DigiVerse DiveCast. We are going to be watching the entirety of Digimon, probably. And, yeah, hopefully. And we're gonna just talk about it, pretty much.
I'm gonna sing about it.
Okay.
Anyway, interpretive dance.
The video will be inserted here. If you don't see anything, Leon lied. Anyway,
I didn't agree. No, hold on. No. I did not agree to it. I didn't agree to interpretive dance. I may do eighth aerobics, but I don't do interpretive dance.
That's why I said the video will be inserted here unless promises were broken.
I didn't make a promise to dance. I said I would sing.
And you didn't read the fine print on your contract. Anyway.
What contract?
My name is Lotte, and I am your host. As I guess we could all go over our our history with Digimon as we introduced ourselves. So I have been a fan of this franchise basically since I was, when did this start? 99. So when I was like 5. Since the first show premiered, I've basically been a massive fan of this series. I have watched every piece of content available and most every game available because some of them aren't available still.
Yeah. I want to play those Wonder Swan games so bad.
Yeah. And then I guess we could just move from right to left on the screen here. So Angel, you're next.
Cool. Hey, I'm Angel. I really only I watched a few episodes of the original dub for 01 when I was a kid. Never really got into it. But I say recently, but it's been like 2 years now. I got into the trading card game, and that's really what got me into it and interested in the series. I started playing a couple of the games. Basically finished the only one that I've really seen through to the end was one of the world games on the 3DS. And I played a bit of Cyber Sleuth, played some Survive. That's basically all I've experienced with this series, and I'm excited to go through the rest of the anime.
Yippee! It's my turn now. My name is Leon. I was a Pokemon kid. Sorry.
Yeah.
I saw Patamon once as a kid, on the TV, just by happenstance, and I was like, yeah, that guy is cool. And then I forgot about him. And then I played Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth on the Switch because it was on sale, and I was like, hell yeah. 60-hour-long JRPG? I'll take it.
With the most insane person progression?
I guess. I don't even remember that much of how the game actually plays. But I enjoyed it, and then I played Digimon Survive, and also it was like, Gomamon, my beloved, I'm going to give you kisses, etc., etc.
Okay. And Momo?
Me?
Yeah,
me
next.
You.
Oh, hello, I'm Momo. Yeah, same as a lot. I was kind of just into all the toy things for kids as a kid. As a younger, I like Yu-Gi-Oh! I like Pokemon. I fucking like Metabots and Betaman. I was into all of it.
God, Metabots.
Yeah. So I watched all the shows we got up until. Actually, no, I stopped after Tamers because I just kind of stopped watching TV after that.
Yeah.
And then kind of just fell to the back of my mind as a thing I remembered existed every once in a while until around the time of Cyber Sleuth coming out. I was one of the guys online going, localized Cyber Sleuth Bandai Namco, and to my shock and awe, they actually did it. So I'm like, well, damn, I guess I have to play it now. And then I also got into the card game, and since then I've just been passively into Digimon again.
Yeah, I think the card game is kind of, I'm the host and the one who organized this whole thing, and the card game is basically how I met all three of these people.
Yeah.
3 months ago. So that's the major reason.
A certain red-haired cat girl did one stream and dragged us all into Digimon Hell.
Yep.
I'm not naming any names. That
No,
would
of
that would
course
just be
not.
mean.
Of course
yeah. And definitely not someone with the name of Bridget or anything.
No, that's the Guilty Gear character.
Yeah,
Of course.
yeah.
But yeah, so I guess before we actually start going over, because we're going to be covering like 5 or so episodes per session, just because that's a nice even number. It means it'll take 10 or 11 weeks to go through each individual season until we get to the later ones where they inexplicably decide to do 67 episode seasons and they're terrible. Well,
Just
one
like
of
just
them is terrible.
arbitrarily random numbers of episodes.
Yeah.
The next season of Digimon should be 69 episodes.
True. It will still have no ending.
Yeah.
Correct.
It will also those 2 extra episodes. Those will be the new episodes where they do the entire plot in 15 minutes.
Yep.
Anyway, we won't be there for another 2 or 3 years. So let's but yeah, so we're going to be doing about 5 episodes per thing. Before we get into this one, like starting with the first episode and everything. Oh, and I should I'm watching both the sub and the dub because I am a glutton for punishment, and also the Adventure 01 and 02 dubs are interesting. So I feel like it's
Someone's
very
a masochist.
I'll keep you in my prayers.
Yeah, I feel like it's important that I
Yeah.
and I assume all
was-
3 of you are just watching the sub, right?
Yeah.
Yes. It was something I thought about, but I'll be honest, I kind of just sat there thinking about it, and I was just like,
No.
I'm just gonna be saying the same thing over and over again, basically.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like this first set, I'm going to be talking pretty in depth about what they did, and then moving on, it's probably just going to be like, if there's any particular change that really sticks out, I'll mention it, like,
Mhm.
name changes and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, there's a lot in this first 5 episodes. There's a lot.
I might do dub and sub once we hit Tamers, just because I'm fucking fascinated by who they got the voice. Guilmon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
that is, why'd they get him?
But so before we actually get into the episodes themselves, I figured I'd talk a little bit about like the history of Digimon, I guess. So as of I believe the first collected volume of the V-Tamer manga, Digimon is credited as being created by Akiyoshi Hongo, who is not a real person.
That's
It's
like
a
3
myth.
dudes.
Yes, Akiyoshi Hongo is a pseudonym for 3 individuals who worked at Bandai Namco. Well,
Work.
worked. Aki Maita, who was the one of the 2 creators of the original Tamagotchis, which is how Digimon started. Hiroshi Izawa, who was the author of the original V-Tamer, and Takeichi Hongo, who was the director of marketing for Bandai at the time. So there's no like, as far as I could tell, I couldn't find a reason they made a person up for this. They just did.
Yeah.
To be silly.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of JP like devs for things like using pseudonyms in the the 90s and 80s. Like you look at like the credits for any NES game, and it's all just like
True.
they're like they're in like usernames.
Yeah. There's like rumors about why. There's one rumor that nobody actually knows who suggested the idea at the meeting. Like the main rumor I could find was that they remember, or they can trace it back to the meeting the product was created in, but they have no idea who actually like gave the idea. So they just decided to kind of combine, but I could not find any actual credible source for that. It just seemed to be the one that was
Bandai
popping up the
forgetting
most often.
Bandai just forgetting really important information feels in character.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
very true.
Yeah.
So Digimon, the very first like instance of them was the V-Pet, which was a offshoot of Tamagotchi because they felt like Tamagotchi wasn't for boys. So they made the V-Pets, which were Tamagotchi for boys. And there was a ton of series of those, which I'm not really going to get into because
That's a different story.
Yeah, that's an entirely different line of product.
They still make them.
Yeah, they
They
do
do.
still make them.
Aren't they
God.
like super
Yeah.
fitness
Yeah.
focused now?
Well, they still
It's
make
kinda
still
cool.
make the regular things too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think the main product line are called like the Vita bracelets or the Vita bracelets, something along those
Yeah,
lines.
Yeah, Vita
I
bracelet.
thought
yeah.
about buying one because
So did
I do a lot of exercise.
Yeah, that's what I would buy. I might eventually buy one, but
Yeah. I'll have to see how much it costs.
Pulsmon.
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 yeah, that was really just what I just to kind of give a. And then the V-Tamer manga started before the actual anime series, and that stars.
And you can tell.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can tell. There's a lot of stuff in it that was directly lifted and used for the show, and vice versa, because the manga ran for about 5 years and went all the way through Saver's original broadcast, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So it was all five first
Yeah,
seasons.
it ran so long it crossed over with 3 different shows.
Yeah.
That's so
And it
real.
took ideas from all of them.
Yep,
which is
it
pretty
sure
cool.
did. But again, that's an entirely different thing to talk about. The main thing is that Taichi, the protagonist of V-Tamer, was directly lifted and made the main protagonist of Digimon Adventure. Albeit in a very different iteration of himself.
Yeah.
Just a different character, some would say, and they'd be correct. But yeah, so that's like really all the preamble info. We can get into the first episode. Butterfly.
Digimon. Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Digimon caused climate change. Just saying.
That's true. They did. They did
Digimon
actually
are
literally.
always causing problems.
They do nothing but cause problems, honestly.
Mhm.
Climate change is in fact not real. It's just we gotta go and help the Digimon in the digital world.
Mm-hmm. So anytime you hear those goddamn liberal scientists talking about the weather or whatever, just tell your computer you love it, and it'll probably be fine.
True.
Baby flame.
Butterfly
Best
is
song of all time.
one of the greatest openings I think that has ever been made.
Yeah, no, 100%.
This isn't even like a nostalgia thing, because the original Pokemon OPs I don't really think hold up that well. Butterfly is still amazing. Like, it's genuinely a great song. The opening itself is really great and everything.
Mhm.
It rules.
I don't remember the name, but I believe the artist that made the song has passed away in recent
Yes.
years.
Koji Wada.
Yes, they did
Yes.
Passed away back, like, what was it,
20
like, right whenever around the time
Yeah.
Try was coming
Yeah.
out, because those were the last songs he did for the series.
Mhm.
They one of the Cyber Sleuth games does an entire tribute for them for like the last half of the plot.
Mhm.
Very
It's
yeah.
gone way too soon.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So, during the opening section where they are talking about how weird weather phenomena have been occurring all over the world, such as heavy flooding in the Middle East, which we immediately go into our first dub line change.
Oh,
So,
Oh boy.
Stop watch, stop watch.
oh my god, it's
We're gonna
like
need a graphic for this.
yeah,
Yeah.
just like a flashing on
Big
screen.
Mega Man flashing siren.
or like the
Double
new challenger approaching from
Boop,
Brawl.
boop, boop.
So, first of all, Taichi's the one doing the like actual voiceover in the beginning instead of just some other narrator.
Oh, that's
Narrator guy.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he says, I didn't
does
get
he
the
know so much?
exact quote, or no, I do actually have the exact quote here. Sorry. Heavy rains in the Middle East caused oceans like chocolate sauce.
What?
Okay.
Because the
oh.
water is brown, they say it's like chocolate sauce in the dub.
Okay.
Willy Wonka in the Middle East?
They're just that's like, well, I guess just since I'll bring it out now. That's like one of the things I would probably just say every time we brought up the dub thing. Is just they try to add in so many more jokes
Oh,
to the
Yeah.
point that everything is like farcical.
oh my, it's unreal.
Literally
So-
the final boss of the
And
story.
also, especially because as we might mention later, Digimon is a show that is it's not like it's not ugly, but it's a show made on a budget, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very minimal animation at times, lots of like distant shots. So there's plenty of opportunities for them to just throw in like dialogue because you can't see a character's mouth moving.
Yeah, and that's another thing I wanted to point out. I have this note later, but the kids in the dub never stop talking. Ever.
That's awesome.
It is
Cool.
nightmarish. They literally do not stop talking ever. It is unreal. I wrote down some of the lines they said because I was so flabbergasted that they put those to paper and were okay with it. Oh my god. But so we start getting our character intros, which of course Taichi is first. In the sub, of course, it's just showing, it has, you know, it zooms out a little bit, or it zooms in rather, and it has like the black screen with their name and what grade they're in, I think is what it was.
Yeah.
And that's really all it says about them, if I remember correctly. It's like
Yeah, it's
I
just
can't-
like
I
name
can't
and grade.
remember.
yeah,
I
name
don't
and
even
grade.
think in the sub they say that stuff out loud. They just tell you their name.
The dub, of course, is done by Taichi. So there's a lot of fucking commentary.
Oh no.
Every character has a
boy.
little blurb about them. I wrote down some of them. I wrote down, I think, everyone except Taichi, because he just says, you know, oh hey, that's me. I'm chilling in a tree or whatever. Sora is okay for a girl.
No.
So
I
yeah.
love the 90s, dude.
The
When I'm
90s.
talking about dubisms, I'm probably going to use the dub names because those are what I wrote down for the most part.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I'll probably be using the sub names because I think they're better in general. Matt is too cool. Izzy should have gone to computer camp. Mimi, I bet you can guess her favorite color.
Can I
No,
stop?
I
Izzy
can't.
should have
God.
gone to computer camp. Sounds like kid talk for I think this kid has autism.
I think it's kid talk for I would have pushed him in a locker.
This guy's a fucking nerd.
And I didn't write down the exact line. All I have written down is Joe pissing himself joke.
Does he seem like he looks like he'd wet himself at any moment or something?
Something along those lines, yeah.
Awesome.
So, you
not
know.
wrong, but
Oh my god. So yeah, and after all of their introductions, it hard cuts to a freak snowstorm where all of our main cast are conveniently they conveniently all flee into the same random shack that is on their campground.
It looks like a
Right.
shrine. I think it's supposed to be a shrine, but
Yeah, I
is
think
it
it's a
sh-
shrine,
is
but
it?
I don't know. Yeah,
okay.
it's like a random like mountain shrine house thing.
That makes a little more
Alright.
sense.
yeah.
So,
So
you
that
know,
just kind of that's kind of what happens in Survive too. So yeah, no, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Does the dub edit that building at all?
no, they don't go. So Saban, who is responsible for this dub,
Yeah.
never really did visual edits.
That's
They
cool.
certainly did change the script though in a lot of ways. So, you know, they once the actual storm has passed, they all talk about Taichi opens the door and they all like are amazed that it is so snowy outside and they go to have fun. Dub Taichi says something along the lines of toboggan races.
Hell yeah.
And then
Awesome.
Izzy says that his infrared internet connection has gone down.
Hmm.
Interesting.
He doesn't even have 5G.
He
It's
doesn't even-
unreal.
Gee.
Also, so another kind of weird thing between the sub and the dub, as far as I can tell, in the original sub, or in the original version of the show, they all seem to at least somewhat know each other, because they're all
Yeah.
at the same summer camp, and I assume they all go to the same school. So, like,
Most of them, yeah.
yeah, they all, well, yeah, except for Takaru. obviously.
Sakura, yeah.
But they all seem to know each other's names at the very least. Like they know first and last name due to some dialogue that happens later in like episode 3. In the dub, they seemingly know each other when it's convenient for a joke.
Yeah, because like in the sub, I remember specifically like there's a bit where like Mimi disappears and everyone's like, "Where's what's her name, Mimi, right?"
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like they know who she is, but aren't like super familiar with her, which makes sense. These kids probably like didn't actually
Yeah.
hang out with each other that much.
Right.
But in the dub, it like they really just like sometimes like Taichi seems to know Izumi.
Everyone.
Yeah, he just seems to know everyone, except sometimes he doesn't, and the other characters don't know each other. It's bizarre. It's really weird. I don't know why they did that. But next
Heaven
they find
forbid
the
people know each other. Oh,
yeah. No, go ahead.
heaven forbid people know each other nowadays.
It's,
Honestly.
because these damn kids are always on their phones.
True.
In the
And their
you know,
and their pagers and their
Yes.
pagers.
so the
He's always
Aurora,
on that computer.
yeah. The Aurora Borealis begins happening.
Directly in
In Japan.
Yeah.
in Japan.
No. Not
In this part
Japan.
of the country.
Oh
Right,
no.
right.
Oh no.
Right. This is the Saban dub.
Yeah. So Izumi says, the Aurora Borealis is usually in Alaska. We're too far south for that.
Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sure, they're
Where
like yeah.
they historically have Japanese shrines in their mountains.
Exactly. We don't need to think about it too hard.
Eat your hamburger.
Eat your
Eat your
hamburger.
hamburger.
Immediately after all that happens, a rift of some kind appears behind the Aurora Borealis and essentially
They get
shoots
isekai.
meteors at these children. They slam into the ground, they explode, everyone's freaking out, and of course these are the
And-
Digivices.
Yeah, and then they reveal that it was Bandai themselves costing these children with marketing. Take our toys.
The children are assaulted by marketable products. Which, to be fair, the original Digivice design is still really, really good.
Yeah.
I may have drawn myself with the birth Digivice because I like it the most, but that original one it's a classic for a reason. It looks really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
How come you're the
Uh,
only one that gets a Digivice?
Because I'm the one that drew myself with one.
I don't have hands.
you
I
you
didn't
both
feel-
you both get Digimon.
We do get Digimon.
I got goggle.
Between
all-
the two of us, we can make something happen.
Jogress?
No. God. That's not until next season. We can't talk about things until they happen in the show.
Okay.
Out of absolutely nowhere, a large wave appears.
Fucking
And
climate
swallows
change,
the-
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dub Taichi screams, "Forget the instructions, surfs up."
What? Huh?
I can hear it in his voice
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Forget the instructions, surfs up. It's so-
It's like I always just have this vivid memory of Dub Tai where he always just sounds like his voice is on the verge of breaking.
It really sounds like that. So, a little backstory. I own the first 3 episodes of Adventure on VHS. I nearly wore those VHS to the point where they could, I wore them down to the point they didn't work anymore because I watched these first 3 episodes so often. I was watching these first 3 episodes of the dub, and I could basically recall them frame for frame.
Awesome.
There are some lines in here I don't remember being in there, but that's beside the point. PNGs of all the children rotate as they fall into the water background.
I do love
Don't they do
whenever
that,
the show
like-
does that.
Twice in the entire season or something?
I
Doesn't
think
it I think it happens again.
I'm pretty sure it
What,
does
them
happen
all
again.
falling or just sliding stills of the cast?
The sliding stills of the cast going into
Oh,
water
it happens
void.
way more than
Yeah.
twice.
This shit was made on a budget.
1999, baby.
Yep.
As they're all falling in, Mimi screams, "I should have gone to cheerleading camp." And
Oh.
She's a
the way-
girl.
yeah, because she's a girl.
Yep.
Um,
If you can't tell.
yeah. The line is actually very funny because her voice fades as she's screaming. So I read it here. I wrote it here as I have the letters getting smaller to remind myself that it fades if she gets further away. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
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 And
Yeah.
now we're officially in the digital world.
They got isekai.
They
We're on File Island.
I did
Yeah.
actually forget, because, since it's been so, like, I've never seen it sub before, and this has been so long since I've seen it, I'm basically just watching it from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, damn, they literally just waste no time
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're-
getting
they
into
are
the
there.
digital world. It's like
Like,
sub
2
5
minutes
minutes,
in.
I think.
Yeah.
They just kind of go, here's the kids, they were at summer camp, here's the Digivices, and you go.
Go.
Shows don't
Yep.
do that anymore, and it hurts. It really
Yeah,
hurts.
honestly.
We need to get
No
to the marketable
surf-
characters now.
Surf Dracula, but for Digimon.
I mean, that's the 20-minute movie we're gonna watch at some point.
True. So
Um,
excited for that.
yeah.
Love that movie.
It's really good.
Yeah.
So Taichi wakes up, and we are greeted by the full frame of Koromon's face.
I love that guy.
He's a
He's
little
just a little
scrunkly.
dude.
Koromon jump scare.
Koromon jump scare.
Slash pause.
So I was separating my dub notes as I would make the note for the sub, and then if something was different in the dub, I would make a further indented bullet point to take notes about the dub differences. There are 6 indented bullet points under
Oh,
Koromon
no.
jump scare.
Oh,
Oh
no.
boy.
So, because basically every line, because like there's not a whole lot of dialogue when Taichi first sees Koromon. It's more just like him
It's like,
screaming,
oh man, what are you? What the
Yeah.
hell are
Yeah.
you?
and Koromon introducing himself as "I'm Koromon."
Your friend.
In the dub, he says, "I'm your friend." Taichi screams something about having rabies shots. There's the really awkward read where Koromon goes, "And we're partners," with a really long pause for some reason.
We all did it together.
He says, "I'm Koromon. That means brave little warrior."
Okay.
Huh?
All right.
I don't think that's what it means.
I always introduce myself to people like this.
I'm always saying this. And then Izumi and Mochimon show up.
Mhm.
And of course, in the dub, they changed Mochimon to Motimon because we can't have any Japanese words in our dub. No,
Of
that's
course.
bad.
I actually did not know that one. That's really
Yep,
funny.
it was Mochi and they changed it to Moti.
Maybe they just think
also-
all kids have like speech impediments of some
I
sort. and
mean,
just
that
can't
one I
do-
could. that one I could at least chalk up to being they
Yeah.
fucked the translation weirdness.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
could just be
Oh, maybe yeah.
the other one.
Because like I don't know what he is. He's just a pink bump.
yeah. There's 2 other ones that they explicitly changed. One of them was definitely a "we're not going to make kids say that," and the other one is probably just another matter of we read this wrong.
But before we go any further, I love Modimon's introduction because he comes in and he basically gives Taichi finger guns.
Yeah, he's like, "Hey."
He's like, I'm Modimon.
You ever think about how this is Takahiro Sakurai's first major role?
I forgot that's him.
God, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's him.
Jesus,
He's
That's
Tentomon.
that's
He's Tentomon.
unreal.
It's insane. Like, he had a few roles before this, but it's like, this is the first time he got put on as one of the main characters.
It's weird because
It is
I
just
think he's
insane to
like
think about.
there's not to say everyone else is no names, but like
Mhm.
I don't think anyone else became such a huge name in the VA industry like him
Yeah,
in
no,
this
it's just
lineup.
insane that he's in this.
I feel like I've heard Agumon's VA.
Oh, probably.
He's probably in
me
like
look it up.
Dragon Ball or something.
Yeah, it's definitely a very Dragon Ball like voice. Yeah. They say something along the lines of "you're in the Digi world," which is a weird thing to say, but instead of saying "this is File Island," they say "you're in the Digi world." Taichi then effortlessly scales a tree that's probably 4 stories tall, if not taller.
He's a monkey. I wrote this down. He's a monkey.
I mean, what do you think those big boots and gloves for?
True.
It's true. So true. He's actually a Sun Wukong allegory.
This is actually just Dragon Ball in secret.
Yeah.
True.
They probably go west in this, maybe.
At some point.
I'm pretty sure they do, actually.
Taichi busts out his iconic mini telescope, which he uses to just kind of look around, and he notices the large red flying beetle, which is of course Kuwagamon, name unchanged, surprisingly enough.
Just
That is
he
true.
has to be the start of it. He's your He's your introduction enemy in so many Digimon things, I'm pretty sure.
It is, yeah. It's the first thing you fight in Digimon World 3. Because
That's the one I was gonna mention.
Yeah.
Isn't it pronounced Kuwagamon?
No, Kuwagamon.
I don't know.
If you're, it depends. Like if you're
it's
romanizing
Kuwagata,
it,
but they don't have the full name Kuwagata, so it's just Kuwagamon.
Yeah.
But whatever.
It doesn't really matter that much.
Or does it?
No, actually.
No.
Maybe it matters to me.
I don't think it does.
So I wrote down Kuwagamon noises in the dub. I'm pretty sure in the sub,
He just kind of makes like growling noises.
yeah, in the dub, I actually think they did a better job with a lot of the sound effects. I'm not going to lie. Like a lot of the sound effects in the original Japanese are like stock sound effects that you hear a lot of. But in the dub, I think they actually might have recorded their own custom ones.
That's pretty cool.
Kuwagamon's got like a unique roar to it that I don't think anything else has. It's like Godzilla-esque. It's really interesting.
Huh.
And there's like a lot of the slashing noises when it's cutting things with its mandibles, which I think was in the sub. But
but I think it's just like a clank noise.
Yeah.
He like kind of like a plane, like a like he's trimming the trees.
Like the kind of buzzsaw style thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, Kuwagamon sees him and immediately cuts the entire top of the tree he was sitting on off, and he hangs from his legs like a monkey.
You know what? While we're on the topic of Kuwagamon,
yeah,
really funny to me that this is before they even introduced the idea of the black gears turning them bad. He just wanted them dead.
Yeah, no, he's just an asshole.
Yeah, he just wants those kids dead.
I think Mochimon says as much. I know in the dub he says he's a bad Digimon. He's always angry.
He's like, oh, they're like I think they say. I think the subs I use say like fiend.
Very yeah. He's just an asshole. Always. I have in very tiny text. That's just great. So I believe what happens is like. When Mochimon explains Kawagamon's like really not okay, Taiji very quietly goes, "That's just great." Like really quick and really quietly.
Just quick. We have like a millisecond of dead air. Say something.
It's so funny. Koromon attempts to do anything to stop Kawagamon and is immediately.
The bubble attack is so cute.
I'm pretty sure everyone's special attack is bubbles. My special attack is also bubbles.
You get the introduction for like every like baby, and it's just like special move, bubble.
Bubble. Yeah, Taichi continues to call Koromon little guy in the dub over and over and over again.
I do too.
I would too, yeah.
Just a little guy. Mochimon leads them to a thing that's it is an object that projects a tree hologram, according to him. But they're also like seemingly inside a physical object, so I'm not really sure what exactly it's supposed to be.
They're actually
it's like
they're actually out in the open. They're just it's just the hologram is on the inside and the outside.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know what that thing was. It's like I assume that would. Because it's like again, since I was like basically coming back in blind, I'm like, is like someone gonna step in and up to them and explain something? No, it's just a metal room in the forest.
Convenience.
Yeah, in the dub, Mochimon explains it. It's a hiding tree, silly. That is their explanation in the dub.
All right.
I mean, he's not wrong.
It's true that is what it's for.
So nice of the creators of the digital world to include hiding trees for small Digimon like Koromon and Motimon.
It's a hidden folder. That's what it materializes as.
Kuwagamon just forgot to press view hit like the
he doesn't have admin privileges.
Yeah.
So after they kind of hear the Kuwagamon fade away, Sora calls out to let them know it's all safe. And, so she's out there and she's holding Pyokomon, which they changed to just Yokomon in the dub.
This thing's name gets changed constantly. It's like Pyokomon, Pokemon, Tokomon.
Yeah. But yeah, so Pyokomon is the official, I think, name for it, but that might have changed at this point. But,
I think in the card game it's Tokomon.
Oh no, TK's
Or
or
Pokemon. Maybe,
Toko is
maybe it is Pyokomon.
yeah, I'm actually not sure.
Whatever.
Yeah, so she's there. And then so that's great. She doesn't say much else, and she won't for a couple episodes, so we can
Yeah.
safely just
we
ignore her.
got a lot of characters to get through.
Yeah. And then Tokomon shows up, just kind of
He
waddles out and
waddles in.
sits down.
Highlight of the episode, to be honest.
Just walks out and sits down, and there he is.
Doesn't he
little dude.
call for Takaru though? He's
Yeah.
like, Takaru,
Yeah,
get over here.
but first he
Yeah.
just walks in, and then it just there's like a shock reaction shot of everyone else just like mouths a game like.
What is this thing?
Some sort of weird pig thing.
And then of course he calls
This
Takaru.
weird, sassy child.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Takaru walks out. I believe and then of course Yamato follows up behind Takaru, and Taichi says, "Oh God, you too?" And Yamato says, "Yeah, I'm here too." And he's like, "No, the thing you have with you," because
He's
Yamato
just
is
holding Sunomon.
carrying Sunomon like a football.
I was like, oh, he's so polite.
Yeah,
Honestly.
Sunomon's a polite little man.
He's very shy.
Yeah,
He's like, I'm Sunomon.
He's just a little guy.
he's bashful. And then Joe shows up.
Yeah.
Oh, Joe, Jesus.
It's like
Yeah.
he just fucking runs and screaming, and it's like this
Joe shows
weird
up,
little-
and then Gomamon shows up, who is, frankly, the star of the
No.
series.
Not
Mhm.
Gomamon.
Oh, not
Pokemon.
Gomamon.
It's
Pokemon.
Pokemon,
Pokemon.
the same
Pokemon
difference.
changed to Pokemon.
and he's like, and then he just sees everyone else. He's like, oh, I feel like a bit of an idiot now.
The dub for him screaming is something along the lines of this thing, it found me, and now it won't leave me alone. And his voice is like on the like he does that like that
He's-
kind of
Mm-hmm.
inflection the entire time. It's very good.
He sounds like he's about to cry at all times.
And then now that I believe that's yes, okay, so now they all start reintroducing themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Now that everyone but Mimi is here.
Mhm.
So they all reintroduce themselves. The dub here is insane. It is legitimately one of the weirdest things I've ever seen because they all start introducing themselves, but rather than like they like keep talking. And it's
Mhm.
like, we're digital monsters. We can be something. We can be this. And then Pokemon goes, we can be funny. There's a pause. Ha! And then it moves on. It just makes a noise.
He's
Oh,
trying to
God.
be funny.
He's trying to be funny.
Yeah,
And you know what? It was Pokemon. He was right. He was funny.
sure. He was fun. And then the eye catch happens, and we get the Tokomon jump scare.
Oh yeah,
it-
but before you do that, I did think it was kind of neat. I really like all the little card thing they do for the
Yeah.
half
Hmm.
the break thing,
Mhm.
because it reminds me a lot of like I was like, I wonder if because obviously like they're somewhat based on like the card game we have now is obviously somewhat based on the old one, but like I thought these cards look a lot like I felt like they based the look on the cards we have now a lot on these specifically.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I wouldn't be too surprised, honestly.
That was a very
Yeah.
roundabout way of saying that.
Yeah,
But you know what I mean.
yeah, it would make. I believe the original card game was probably kind of loosely based on those, at least the designs for them.
Oh, they're very different looking. I think
Oh, really?
they might even be before the anime. I'm not sure.
Not
Oh
surprised.
God, really? I didn't think the card game was that old.
Oh, it's very old. I'm pretty sure. But I guess just for reference, these are the cards. You want to show
yeah,
them?
let me throw them in there real quick. Yeah. I think if I just click and drag, it'll show up on the.
Gomamon spotted. Gomamon.
Oh
That's
God, that's
correct.
so
Yo.
big. There we go.
Oh yeah, it was like
There we go.
mine was specifically like I think it's like a weird sort of attempt at a remaster. I know the official remasters for this show aren't very good looking. But
Yeah,
man, sometimes things look blurry as hell.
yeah. There's a couple quality shots that the remaster calls that I screen capped as well. For the sub, I'm watching the quote unquote remaster, and the dub I'm watching the official release on Hulu, which are not the Blu-ray version that
Just came out, yeah.
yeah,
None
that
of
just
us
came
have
out
that,
like
I'm pretty
3
sure.
days ago.
If anyone wants to give us the Blu-ray version on a digital copy, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah, here's my
I'm gonna
address.
buy
You can
one
send them to me.
eventually.
I'm watching in 480p on a website that shall not be named.
Of course.
You know.
Because you know, that shit is not available literally anywhere.
Correct.
We can only watch the dub officially on Hulu.
Mm.
Not the
Yup.
sub, but man.
Yeah, no.
Actually, yeah, none of us actually watched the sub. We're just recalling it from when we
Yes,
watched it
memory.
on a Japanese channel 7 years ago. You know.
True.
Of course. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Sorry, during the reintroduction, when all the tamers are reintroducing themselves to all their Digimon, Matt says, "No autographs, please."
Oh no.
Izumi says, "Do you have internet access?"
Oh
And
no.
Takeru says, "I'm not as small as I look."
Oh no.
Which
I mean, he's like 30% hacked.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
It's really funny just how tiny Takaru is. Dude is like 2 feet tall.
It's the actual like miniature
Is he
person.
is he a third grader or a second grader? I
Second
can't remember.
grader.
Second.
A second
Yeah.
grader.
Yeah.
Yeah, second graders do be that small.
Yeah.
Which,
it's just funny knowing that there's like only like a 2-year difference between him and Sora, I
Mimi.
think. Mimi, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I think
Mimi and Kosho are 4th, everyone else is 5th,
Yeah, yeah.
and then Joe is 6th.
Right.
which was I actually pointed that, which is something interesting. I didn't know Mimi was only in 4th grade because she looks like she's
Same.
supposed to be old. Like she looks like she's supposed to be one of the 5th graders, but no, she's apparently
Yeah.
one of the 4th graders, which is weird.
Yeah.
It's just like an odd detail. Yeah, and I put here in the dub they don't know each other for some reason. They just no one has any idea who each other is for some reason.
Strange.
Except
do
for
they do-
plot convenience.
Oh, and Mimi has showed up by the way,
Okay, yeah.
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 introducing herself in Tanemon.
Mhm.
Can I just say, I adore the Japanese voice for Palmon or Tanemon.
Yes,
It's so
same.
cute.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Like, it's like a weird scratchy voice, but it's not like grating.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, it's
They-
like it's ASMR, guys.
They actually kind of carry that over to the dub a little bit. Palmon's dub voice. This is probably going to be a controversial opinion. I actually really like the English voice cast for the Digimon specifically. I think they're all really, really good.
Yeah, no,
And they
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I will admit, every once in a while, I just try to imitate Agumon or Gabumon because they have just this very weird voice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gabumon.
Gabumon.
It's like, oh, he's so polite.
Yeah.
He's just a
Palmon.
little guy.
Sorry,
got-
no pets allowed on the lease. Sends a picture of Gabumon. He looks polite. He can stay.
So now that Mimi has been reintroduced to the group, Kawagamon, of course, attacks them again. So during the chase scene, there is this crazy guitar riff getting played. It is
Awesome.
nuts. In the dub, they replaced it by some kind of generic horns that doesn't sound nearly as good. The sub music is like so much better. It's kind of
Yeah.
insane.
It's like, it's really got that like.
This
It's
is
like, I
usually
feel like
the
that's
case.
just like all the. I feel like just all the Toei anime had like this like very like grand sounding like, I don't know, big band / orchestra type stuff, but it's just just pleasant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, this, for whatever reason, during this chase scene, there is just someone absolutely shredding on an electric guitar. It's, like, insane.
The soundtrack for this show is just really good.
Yes, it
True.
is. Taichi says we should fight it. Everyone else collectively goes, "Are you insane?"
With
Wants
good
to throw
reason.
hands. He just wants to throw hands.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
okay, guys. Agumon's special ability is bubbles. We'll be fine.
Tokomon.
It worked the first 2 times.
Kind of.
Mm-hmm.
He got
Yeah.
hit, but you know. In the dub, Matt says something along the lines of, "Anyone bring a helicopter?" Which I don't know why. Koromon once again tries to stop Kawagamon from chasing them. Fails again.
Yeah.
Well, kind of fails. He manages to divert its course so no one dies. And then it chases them, and they all have their backs to a cliff now after getting out of the forest.
Oh no!
So yeah, it's a standoff with all the in-training Digimon and Kawagamon. All of them, it like goes past them and then comes back around and attempts to hit them. And they all do a bubble at the same time. And that causes Kawagamon to spin out and violently crash into the forest.
Congratulations, they totally defeated it.
Yeah. And then it hard cuts to a sad harmonica track as it kind of pans over all of their limp bodies on the ground.
So sad they all died.
Yeah, they all just died. Show's over.
Mm-hmm.
And in the dub, Taichi asks, "What were you doing?" And Koromon says, "I'm trying to make a good impression." Izumi says, "They must be programmed for courage."
Oh no. Koichiro, no.
And then, of course, Kawagamon is not defeated, even slightly. He gets back up and starts slowly approaching them. And at this point, all of the babies crave violence and demand to be let go.
Of course.
In the dub, they are all screaming different things, because I think in the sub, they're all just, like, repeatedly saying, like, we have to fight, we can't, like, we have to stop him, and all that kind of stuff. Tsunomon and Tokomon are both screaming repeatedly, "Let me go, let me go, let me go, let me go, let me go." And then eventually they all break free, except Tanemon. Mimi very respectfully asks you two, and
like, "Do you
Tanemon's
want to
like,
go?"
"Yup." Yeah.
He's like, "Do you want to go?" It's like a little whimper.
Yeah. I'm gonna say this immediately. In the sub, I think Mimi's my favorite character. In the dub, she's my least favorite character.
Because it's like, in the sub, it's like, okay, she's a bit whiny, you know. She doesn't like.
She's a bit of a
like,
brat.
Yeah, a bit of a bratty character, but you know, it's like charming.
Yeah, and there are several instances in the sub where she is very clearly interested and cares about Palmon deeply, which we'll get to later, because that had like episodes 2 and 3 have a couple good spots for that.
Yeah.
And then of course all the babies jump out of their arms in the dub, only when it's showing Tokomon, because Tokomon is doing the face. It's just he's just going ah. Only him.
I'm pretty sure that's like one of the only times they show the Tokomon mouth, right?
Yeah.
During the eye catch, it has it. Like the commercial break thing when it shows like the in training cards.
Yeah.
That's the
Why does it look like that?
You know.
It's
just
awful.
does.
I hate it. It's.
And then all of their united courage to stand up to this giant bug allows them all to digivolve, and we get the first Digivolution sequence
and you get Braveheart, baby.
Yes! Oh my god, Braveheart is such
that song.
Braveheart is such a fucking incredible insert song.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
and then they murder Kuwagamon.
I gotta say, it's brush it over, but I gotta say, it's amazing just how rotating that fucking model can get me so hyped. Spin them.
Spin them. Just spin those children.
Secretly Beyblade.
Yeah. So it's pretty much a direct translation during the Digivolution sequences. It's basically just like, you know, Koromon evolve, and then it's like Koromon Digivolve to Agumon. Which, yeah.
Except, just, you know,
the song isn't the song.
Well, yeah, they changed the song.
Well, yeah, but we don't need to talk about the dub song being fucking nothing.
That's like, you know.
Yeah,
I didn't always think it was hysterical how like apparently most other other foreign language dubs of Digimon just kept all the songs.
Yeah. It is a US English dub in the 90s, so all of the music has been changed, and it's worse.
I'm a side victim of that because I live in the UK, so it's like, well, we're not gonna fucking dub it ourselves, just give them the US version.
Yeah.
Yep. Damn shame. After all of their PNGs are rotated and they turn into the bigger PNGs, I believe I forget which kid says it, but they just go, "They're bigger." And that's all they say. So
not like they're wildly different or anything.
Yeah, they're just bigger.
Yeah.
The only name change in this is Piomon becomes Biomon in the original. At this point, they have reverted that change. The current official English name is Piomon. But back in the 90s,
I can understand why they would change it from Piyomon.
Yeah.
That name would get made fun of so much.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
By like grade schoolers.
Especially because it was like one of the like female
Yeah,
characters,
yeah.
like Digimon.
Yeah, exactly.
Not going to lie, it was either that or the fact that, the P and B character are the
Mhm.
same, say for the small, the 1010, or not the 1010, the 1010 is for Biyomon. But the small mark at the top of the character. And depending on how high quality the footage they were working with was, they might not have known. They probably just saw a smudge and were like, I think it's a B.
Yeah.
This is Saban, they didn't care.
Yeah.
Okay, so they all do their signature attack. Every one of them was changed.
hmm Wait, they
so,
don't even keep baby
Nope.
flame?
No, it's Pepper Breath.
yes.
It's called Pepper
Oh,
Breath.
right. Yeah.
Baby
yeah,
Flame becomes Pepper Breath. Petite Fire, which is Gabumon's, becomes
Mhm.
Blue Blaster. Patamon's Air Shot becomes Boom Bubble, which every single
That's
time
not a-
it's
that's a
Boom
nice
Bubble. Pah!
I like that.
Piomon's Magical Fire becomes Spiral Twister. Tentomon's Petite Thunder becomes Super Shocker. And Gomamon doesn't do an attack.
He just rolls.
Goemon does his thing later.
Yeah,
Don't worry
but
about it.
he trips. He tripped.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like he was the most impressive in that fight because he tripped up fucking Kuwagamon
Yeah,
himself.
Yeah.
he rolls under and goes.
And trips him. It's really good. I have it all caps. Gomamon roll.
Gomamon roll. He's got iframes on that.
Yeah. They
And Palmon does Poison Ivy, which I think
Yes,
is just still
yes.
called Poison Ivy.
yeah, that one did not change. That was the only one they didn't change. I think that might be the only attack name in the entire show they didn't change.
That's really funny.
Yeah, because I made note of every single difference. And then as they slowly hit him, his face lights on fire, and then they all hit him at once, and he bursts into flames.
Yep.
The gang murders a Digimon.
Yeah.
Because like half the fucking crew's moves are all fire based for
Yeah.
some
True.
reason.
For some reason.
Kuwagamon is on fire, stumbles backwards into the woods.
Immediately
Taichi,
comes back.
well, hold on. There's a couple dub lines I need to talk about.
Okay.
Taichi says, "You did it, Koromon or Agumon or whatever."
Oh.
Tentomon says, and I quote, "Pretty wizard, huh?" Because this is the 90s.
Yeah.
Goemon doesn't do anything.
Okay, so I did remember this. I don't, maybe you're gonna bring this up later, but I know at a certain point in the dub they really tried to make, I think especially Izzy, they started to give him fucking, what was it called, prodigious as a catchphrase.
That is episode 4 onward. Prodigious.
He really
is
starts
his-
trying to get that over.
Oh my god, it's they we'll get there. We spend a lot of time on episode 1. And then Kuwagamon shows back up and cuts the fucking cliff off and they
Yeah,
all
no,
come
it didn't
falling into the
count.
ocean.
Yep. It's really funny that even with the evolution, they are still getting washed.
Yeah.
Like
of
all,
course.
like there's like 6 of them.
They got
Is that
some
how
good
many?
hits in though.
Yeah, they got some good hits in though, and they're
Yeah.
still getting washed.
Yeah.
It just I like how it really shows how massive the gap in strength between stages is.
Yes. They further exemplify that in episode 5, but you
Mhm.
wouldn't know that in the dub
Mhm.
because they don't mention it. We'll get there though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then the ED starts playing, which is
It's okay.
it's a very 90s ED, like a
Yeah, it's
very
like-
90s
It's
ED.
not something I will go out of my way to listen to, but it's pleasant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the visuals
The
for it is
visuals,
nice.
the visuals are kind of funny looking to be honest.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
city backdrop with the PNGs of all the
Because
gamers
I
and
don't know, for some reason there's just something amusing to me about just like sometimes I'll just tab out and then I tab back in and I just see Sora sliding across the city line with giving me a thumbs up.
really good. Okay. I didn't note this for the first episode because I forgot to write it down. But from the second episode onward, I will be listing their Japanese title and their English title because the names of the
Mhm.
episodes are, of course, different.
Yeah.
All right, episode 2, Explosive Evolution, Greymon, or in the dub, The Birth of Greymon.
Yo.
Mew gave
Yup.
birth.
God. So of course the second episode picks up immediately where I have to change the background because we're on the same. We'll no longer Toko sit. It is now time on. All right. The second episode begins with them falling off a cliff, because that's how the first one ended, baby. And now, of course,
Oh wait, before,
Gomamon...
one last thing about I
yes.
guess just from here. So in the dub, do they still, for the narrator at the end, is it freezing? It's like, and then you hear like fucking Ty or whoever's like, well, you better tune into the next episode of Digimon.
No.
They don't do that? Okay, I'm sorry, just one quick tangent, and then we can get in the episode.
Sure.
It reminds me of, in Tamers, they did that.
They kept it?
No, they had like a narrator, and they would do that in,
okay.
but for some reason, the narrator was the guy who played Davis in 02.
What?
And he was doing his Davis voice, so it was like Davis was the narrator.
But
so I remember
fictional.
there's this point where, like, I don't know, like a character rampage, like a Digimon Digivolves and goes on a rampage, and then at the end of the episode, like a character speaking out, like, is that what happens when they Digivolve? And then you just hear Davis suddenly barge in, like, that's a good question. Better tune into the next episode to find out.
You have to keep that.
Do that.
Keep that in the back
honestly
pocket for a year
surprised
from
that.
now.
I'm honestly surprised Adventure didn't have that. But
no.
sorry, continue.
Adventure has recaps at the beginning of the episodes done by a dub character. I don't think the first one was anything. I don't think they actually did anything for the first one. From the third episode onward, though, the focus character of the previous episode gives a short recap. And there are
That's a nice way to do it, at least.
Yeah, there are some lines in there.
Oh boy.
There are some lines. So as they're all falling off the cliff, the three flying Digimon attempt to save their partners, but they can't do anything. Palmon attempts to use Poison Ivy to grab onto a rock, breaks the entire
And then the rock
cliff.
just It's really funny because it's one of those cases where, like, it's like, oh, that is actually, like, drawn. It's not part of the background, so you immediately know it's gonna snap off.
It's really funny. And then, at long last, Gomamon can use his ability.
Marching
fishes!
Which is the other name change that did not happen. It is still called Marching Fishes.
Well, because grammatically speaking, in terms of like plural fish, you say fish if it's a lot of the same type of fish, and you say fishes if it's a lot of the different types of fish.
I actually was not aware of that. What the
I did
hell?
not know that either.
Yeah. Both can technically be correct because fishes implies that there's more than one species of fish, and it makes sense for Gomamon because you got like the 3 different colored fish.
It's also really, I think that's also just a funny, something I find weird / funny is like just fish, or just regular ass fish are still a thing in the digital world. Like, these are Digimon, they're just fish.
They're just fish.
They're just fish.
Despite the Digimon insistent on the fact that there are only Digimon in this world.
Yes, they say that multiple times.
But they ain't buying it.
Just Digimon. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So in the dub, he does say, actually, maybe they did. So I think in the dub, he actually doesn't have a name for Marching Fishes. I believe he just says something every time it happens. The first one I have written down as fish, and then a bunch of question marks, because I could not for the life of me understand what he was saying. He just screams, fish, something.
Fish!
And then he makes a joke about it being a school reunion, because school of fish.
God, that's a little funny. I'll give him that.
Then they cut to the background PNG of the fish that is undulating,
it's like
and
wobbling.
I dislike it. I hate it.
It's like this. It's like the toy classic of, okay, we'll pop off with some crazy stock footage or like a really cool sequence every couple episodes, but you're getting the bare minimum out of us for most of the week.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. It was Gomamon commands the fish to move faster, and they start moving very fast, but because Gomamon and Joe are just centered on the frame and not moving, they're just kind of sliding underneath them, and it looks really funny. So they're successfully carried to a shore further down the river after, they watch Kuwagamon fall into the river as well. Joe immediately dead names Gomamon.
Okay.
Immediately calls him
you're
Pukamon.
Gomamon or Pukamon or who are you?
Takeru then also immediately dead names Patamon. calling him
I'll be
Tokomon.
I can't believe Digimon is a trans allegory.
Although I'll be honest, I know you could not keep this bit going on for very long, but I do get a chuckle every time they do the thanks Agumon. Or wait, what are you now?
Yeah.
What's your name now?
Whatever your name is. In the dub, Takaru says, "So I helped you change. That's so cool." But so yeah, instead of like getting his name wrong, he says that. But Tokomon or Patamon still looks upset, so it's a really funny visual.
I
What do you mean you helped me change?
Oh.
Yeah. Joe suggests they simply go back to where they came from, so they should scale a sheer cliff.
He does that a lot.
Yeah. He suggests that multiple times throughout this couple episodes.
There's gotta be humans here.
I am actually like a really big fan of like Joe's dynamic in the group where like he's the oldest, but he's like such a wimp and is constantly getting led by everyone else.
He is. So the funny thing is like Joe actually has like the good advice here, which is no, we should stay put and wait for help because they don't know they're not fucking on Earth anymore. Like, how would they know
like,
that?
It's like that probably is what they should be doing, but also like, you know,
that's not interesting for a show. So
literally elementary school kids. Those kids
and also, you know, if you're
the...
a kid watching this, they'll be like, "Yeah, shut up, Joe. That's boring."
Yeah, exactly. You're meant to not like Joe as a child watching this. So there's actually a very good joke here where Izumi starts explaining some concepts and Tentomon goes, "Oh yeah, I know what you mean." Really? No.
No. Tentomon's actually really funny. I forgot he was like a funny guy. I thought he was, for some reason I always remembered him as being like I guess like a brainy guy like Izzy.
No, he just does not know what's going on, but he goes with it.
Guy who kind of the Digimon in these early episodes are very much guy who kind of understands things.
Yeah. They're children. The form is literally called child.
Everyone's children.
Well, yeah, but they just became children.
From babies.
From babies, yeah.
There's another good... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I find it really funny that Koshido is like one of the youngest, and yet he is the
smart
most
one.
brainy.
Yeah.
Real autism hours.
Honestly.
I'm not gonna stop.
There's another good joke in there, similar to that, where Palmon tells Mimi, "Hey, I can perform photosynthesis," and she goes, "Cool.
Oh, cool.
Can I
Show
see?"
me. Can
and he
I
goes,
see it?
Do you know what that is? She goes, no, me neither.
Me neither.
That's further in. I wrote, I don't know either. I felt like this is one of my favorite interactions. I think in the entirety of the 5 episodes. I love this because Palmon looks all like embarrassed and shy about being asked to be shown what photosynthesis is. Like, do you know what that is? Nope, I don't either.
No.
So good.
I also just want to ask her, where did you learn that word?
Yeah. I'll get back
was
to that.
Was it just like put in her brain when she digivolved?
Yeah, embedded in the subconscious.
That's what happens when you become a plant.
True.
So the good Tentomon joke is replaced by a bad Tentomon joke in the dub. Because I believe Izumi talks about the direction they need to be heading, and Tentomon's like, "Oh, I know what direction that is." And Izzy's like, "Really? No." And in the dub, Tentomon says, "Yeah, I know what north is. It's the opposite of south." And it's like, okay, sure, whatever. And then Mimi in the sub asks, "Are there going to be monsters?" And Palmon just says, "Yeah." Yeah. And Mimi makes a really upset noise. In the dub, they actually kept that as like basically the same joke where Palmon says, "Yes, indeedy," and Mimi just goes, "Ick." Which I'm actually quite a fan of.
It's coming full circle. The egg existed back then. It's becoming a thing now.
Yeah. At this point, they all think they're probably not in Japan. Probably.
They are south of Alaska though, which is good to know.
In the dub, they don't talk about their location at all.
Well, I mean, I've never been south of Alaska. It probably just looks like that.
It's true.
Yeah.
It probably looks like weird tropical regions.
Yeah.
So, getting back to the photosynthesis line, this is the first time I wrote the dub hates Mimi. Because this is when it starts.
Oh boy.
So in the dub, they remove that really cute interaction and replace it with Mimi asking if she could do Palmon's hair. And that's the interaction. That's it.
Okay.
Can I do your hair?
Yeah, it's like, can I do your hair? Oh, you would look really good with a perm. It's like, I'm gonna,
Okay.
yeah.
How are you gonna do a perm in the digital world?
On a plant.
Yeah, no, that this is just the beginning. It only gets worse from here. So this is just like they have like a couple of like establishing little panning shots, which I love the aesthetic of the digital world, by the way.
Yes.
I adore it. It's
like,
so
like,
good.
Yeah.
The word like blotchy style and like the muted colors.
Mm-hmm.
Like
It's watercolor.
Yeah. They have like just the random objects that are scattered around and like the
like
foliage. Yeah.
Random stop signs and whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Things
which
are
they
kind of
call
look like the
attention.
real world, but something's just not right.
Yeah, they call attention to the stop signs in the dub, but we'll get to that later. Eventually, they begin. I think is it later that someone smells the ocean? Yeah, that's later. That's in episode 3, I think.
Yes.
This is the one where they just start hearing the phone ringing, and they follow the sound, and they wind up on a beach where there are phone booths for some reason that are currently ringing. So of course they immediately all rush to go check it out because that's fucking weird, and they're all really excited because that means they could call
we'll get home.
Yeah. Taichi realizes he doesn't have money, so Izumi lends him his phone card. They all attempt to dial some number, and they all get a bunch of weird gibberish responses, which are kind of changed in the dub, but not really.
Mm-hmm.
Taichi's response is it's currently 35:82:90 a.m. Beep, 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 beep. In the dub, it's just changed to like, it's 3 o'clock, 42 miles per hour. It's just like kind of a gibberish thing.
Yeah.
Everyone else gets like weirdly angry operators telling them to stop trying to call the number.
Yeah, they're all like, for the last time, it's busy. Go away.
So yeah, it's just about do nonsense.
There's some like real angry angel women's on the end of those lines that are like trying to call each other, but the lines keep getting blocked up by some kids on a beach somewhere.
Yeah, they're hogging up all the
bandwidth.
The dial-up phone lines. In a funny animation error, when Sora goes to put her phone down, it just disappears. It just vanishes after she takes her hand off it.
It's so real.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, eventually they all give up and they're just kind of like, they realize that they need to sort out the food situation because that's kind of a big deal. So they all start like going over what individual things they have on them that they had on them when they left camp. Joe is meanwhile attempting to constantly call numbers over and over again fruitlessly.
Like,
Yeah.
please.
He's wasting all his coins on that.
Mm-hmm.
I
Oh,
think
he's gonna be so mad when they get home.
Yeah. I really like there's a moment in this that I really like where Taichi goes, hey fucking, hey Koshiro, let me borrow a dime.
Yeah. Good.
Mm-hmm.
So Sora goes to reach for something in her bag and realizes and like touches the Digivice and goes, oh yeah, we have
things.
those.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be
That's
fair,
weird.
once happened.
Yeah. In the dub, Mimi off screen says, if anyone has a pink one, I'll trade.
Oh.
The writers really do hate Mimi, huh?
The writers fucking hate Mimi. Oh my god, they hate her so bad. So I believe Sora just talks about how she has like a couple like small things that she didn't really like. It was like small kind of whatever stuff.
Sora's like a bunch of first aid stuff.
Yeah,
Mhm.
just like minor first aid stuff. I think she has like a piece of food on her. Izumi has the laptop, a
His
cell
computer stuff.
phone. He
And
says
a
he has
PDA.
a cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and a PDA. Of course, none of which work. Taichi has his telescope. That's it.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Yep.
Takeru has a backpack loaded to the brim with snacks.
Candy
Good for
even.
him.
Yeah. Mimi, of course, immediately
Has
Mimi tries to get some of Takeru's snacks. Yamato in the dub chastises her for this, and Takeru responds, "You don't have to be nice to me. I'll be happy to share. Isn't she cute?" Like all one word as quickly as he can possibly say.
Oh, no.
the dub classic.
Yeah.
Like, you have half a second, fit this entire line. We did not check how much time lip movement is in this bit, so
It's yeah.
just rapid fire the line out, buddy. Who cares?
Takeru refers to Yamato as Oni-chan. In the version of the sub I was watching, I got a big fucking translator's note at the top of the screen. Did anyone else watch this version of it?
Not in my one. Not in my one.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't
I
think
did.
so. No.
Okay.
I saw it very briefly.
So yeah, me and Leon watched the same upload.
Or maybe
of
I
this
did.
then.
Maybe I looked away.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't there for very long.
Yeah, it was very
Yeah,
brief.
that'll
It
do
was
it.
basically just explaining. It was
Oni-chan
explaining
means.
something. Not even that. It explained what Oni-chan means, but it's 3 entire lines because it's also explaining something that happens in episode 3, which is the whole cousin confusion because
Oh, I
Takeru and
see.
Yamato have different last names.
I thought it
Right.
also like very briefly mentions that it also can mean like someone that is very close to you.
Yeah.
Too.
It's
Yeah,
like-
yeah.
It's like a younger cousin would call an older cousin this,
Yeah.
which is why they get confused
Yeah.
in the next episode
That
about
makes
the whole
sense.
thing.
But it's that's kind of weird to have like a translator note for that when that's literally just the premise of a scene in the next
Mhm.
episode.
Yeah.
It's very bizarre. I just thought it was very weird. Mimi brought a fucking survival kit. She is the one
Yeah,
who's
she's like,
prepared.
she's like, yeah, I stole all this stuff from my dad. He
She
doesn't
really
know.
know.
She just stole that.
Not only does she have like a full ass survival kit, she has like actual solid fuel in there, which
Yeah.
is like
It's
a
like,
Why do you
fire
have
hazard.
this?
She has a Swiss Army knife, a compass, solid fuel, which is so
Might
funny.
as well just have some napalm in there.
it's like,
Yeah.
we're gonna use. Well, it'll be handy if Kuwagamon comes back. Fucking throw an IED at him.
And in the dub, she
Oh,
goes
no.
out of her way to say the compass is broken.
That is not true. The compass isn't broken.
The compass is not broken. However, she says that, and that causes some issues with a line in episode 4.
Yeah.
We'll get back to it.
Yeah.
Oh no.
The dub hates Mimi.
I don't think that's a hates
her.
Mimi. I don't think that's a hates Mimi mode. I think that's just a. We didn't check our script.
I mean, it's because it's specifically her that says something in episode 4.
Oh.
And it's a very like, haha, she's an idiot. Dude. Oh boy.
Ooh,
The more I watch this, the more angry I get about her treatment. All right. They realize that Joe has the emergency rations bag that is just stuffed with like a bunch of food, but he's busy calling people on the phone, so they start yelling at him to get the hell over here.
Joe, hurry up.
And he's like, "Oh, I've been trying to pawn this off on Sora
It's like,
for
this
so
was your
long."
job,
Or Mimi,
Mimi.
or-
Yeah. Mimi
Because
said
like,
she doesn't
because
want
like
it.
in an earlier, I think at like the start, like before they get sent to the Jiro, it's like, I was looking for Mimi. Where is she?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he
was
actually, I
the-
don't think he was at the house. I think he was like climbing the mountain.
Yeah, he was out on a trail. Yeah, because Mimi was supposed to have the emergency rations for the day, and Joe had spent basically the entire day trying to foist them upon her. She says, "Nah, it's too heavy. I don't want it." So true, so valid.
Yeah.
Right. Wait, I just have kazoos written.
No,
Kazoo.
yeah, no. I also have Kazoo written because there's a track after like where they're all. I think it's like after Agumon starts eating or something, and it's just like really like low, not low quality, like a low note of a guy just like going ham on a kazoo
Okay.
on the OST.
Yeah, because I vaguely remember the music being kazoos, and it was really weird.
I think it's like a montage of like them like relaxing on the beach or something. Essentially, but yeah, no, there is in fact just a track that is full on just kazoos. It's good.
which is great. So they start trying to figure out how much food they actually have. It's a little under 3 days. Then they realize they need to factor in the Digimon, so it's like less than a day. In the dub, Joe is sitting there trying to take control, and Izumi keeps cutting in with the correct answer before he's able to say it. Which is really funny, actually. And then they start talking about it. The Digimon are like, oh no, we can forage for ourselves. It's fine. You don't have to worry about us. And then it pans over and Taichi is giving Agumon half his food.
Yeah, it's like, those aren't for people, those are for people.
In the dub, Joe has a line that's like, and what do you think you're doing?
Ty's making like a really good face in that scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't get a screen cap of it.
I did, hold on.
Oh, did you?
Nice, hold on.
Where'd I put it? There it is.
Upload it and I could drag it in.
Them?
Why? That was not where I meant to put that, but whatever, you can see it.
Okay.
Can we?
Where'd you put it?
Oh, never mind, I'll post it again.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. His face. It's
He's
so
sick
good.
of his shit.
And Agumon's like, oh, tee.
He's hungry.
Little do they know, this is how they survive the day.
Also, you'd think this is a tiny cup, but no, Taichi's hands are just massive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everyone's got, like, Mickey Mouse proportions.
It's so funny.
Probably easier to draw that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're stylized. After they start trying to figure this out, a squirt starts happening. Where
Oh, what? I'm sorry,
what?
what?
a squirt.
Huh?
Water starts violently erupting
Bubbling.
from
Bubbling.
Fine, okay.
A squirt.
It bubbles up, but it does squirt afterward, and it starts obliterating all of
It's
the
a
phone
geyser?
booths. So, yeah.
Just use the word geyser.
Yeah.
Fine, it geysers.
Squirt is a really bad word in this day and age.
Yeah, I know that's why I said it.
Okay.
So each of the phone
Yeah,
booths
it's like, it's like one at a time.
Yeah, it goes like down the line one by one. It explodes every phone booth, which then proceed to slam down on the ground to get absolutely demolished. Shellmon shows up, which I believe Tentomon is the one that identifies him. I think
Yeah, he's like, oh,
usually
Shellmon.
Tentomon. Mhm. Which, of course, no name change, still just Shellmon in the dub. The animation for Shellmon coming out of his shell is weirdly high quality. And it's disgusting.
Again, that's like the Toei classic, where like,
Yeah.
just the very just minimalist, or like kind of look. I feel mean saying the word low quality, but then like they'll pop up every once in a while.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of stills in this show, like a lot of stills.
Yeah.
It's not the prettiest show, but it was made in 1999 to sell merchandise, so I'm not really gonna fault them for it.
Yeah.
It's
It's not like this. It's not like it was particularly ugly compared to its
Yeah, it's not like
compared to everything else.
That's why I'm saying. That's why I feel bad saying low quality, because it's not like an
Mhm.
ugly show. It's just
yeah.
It's got good art direction.
Yeah. No, yeah, the art direction's fantastic. Like, it's amazing. Like, the environmental design and everything is just so good.
Yeah.
Joe is attempting to scale up the, like, kind of slope behind them, and Shellmon immediately blasts him, calling him to fall probably about, like, 15 feet.
You know, you know that bit in. Have you ever seen that one bit in Family Guy where Peter tries to drink out of a fire hose? That should have. That's what happened. That's what should have happened to Joe right there. It's
He
just
should
nothing
be
but a
dead.
skeleton. It's like,
Yeah.
good job, Shaman. You got my hands wet.
Also, Gomamon, because, you know, Gomamon has been just kind of, like, chilling out in the ocean. For some reason, Shellmon blasts Gomamon as well. For no reason.
He's just a little hater.
I'm pretty sure he stays out there for like the entire fight.
Yeah, he does. Because he gets taken out immediately because he's just hanging out in the ocean, and then Shellmon, for no reason at all, just blasts him.
That's my water.
It's like, and then all the rookies start, all the little kids rookies start attempting to attack Shellmon. and none of their attacks are going off as they realize they are too hungry to do anything.
And they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I can't do anything." Oh,
The only one whose attack works is, of course, Agumon.
Because Ty gave him a chocolate bar.
Yeah, and they realize it's because he ate earlier.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
like it's really funny. It's like, oh, I'm back at full fighting strength off a single fucking I don't know if this is what they're supposed to be, but like to me, they just like what are they called? Bourbon creams.
Yeah.
They're all just snacking on a pack of bourbons.
There's one particularly good one is when is Palmon, because she runs up, says poison ivy, and puts her hands up, and nothing happens, and then she just goes, huh? And then gets fucking smacked.
Yeah, because there's like a few sometimes like it's like, oh, everyone's attacking together, and then it's like Palmon's just kind of standing there because she doesn't have like a projectile attack.
It happens in episode 3 too. It's really good. Taichi runs up, grabs one of the broken metal poles from the phone booth, and just starts going in.
People fucking hyping up Marcus. Oh yeah, he
Yeah.
threw hands with the
Yeah.
Digimon. It's like,
He's not
where
the
have you
OG.
been?
He's not the first one.
Like, Jesus Christ.
Taichi attacking them with a telephone pole.
Yeah, he immediately gets owned, which, of course,
Yeah. of course.
gets wrapped up. Shellmon does the water blast, like just sweeping across all the kids.
They look so this bar looks shit.
It's so funny. I
It
wrote
just-
everyone hit by water and they teleport onto the ground.
they just switch their frames to the ones where they're against the wall.
There are no in between.
It's like
It is
it
just
kind of covers up everyone else, but you see Joe just teleport.
it's so funny. It was absolutely incredible. So at this point, Taichi is screaming, and Agumon is trapped under Shellmon's hand, and they start
And they're
getting
like, help me! They start shouting each
Agumon's
other's
like,
names.
yeah, I gotta protect him, which of course leads into our first proper champion evolution sequence. Which again, it's the same thing. It's just the rotating PNGs, but it's God. There's
It's
something
cool,
just so cool
and you
about
get
them,
like
yeah.
the extra bit where like there's like the big shiny light, and then like the little particles start coming out.
Yeah, and you get
I will-
the shot of the DigiVice shooting out the little the
Pew.
bars.
I will say, from like an artist point of view, like those turnarounds are really.
Oh, yeah, no,
fucking
it's like-
Yeah,
so
they're
okay,
really
it's like-
impressive.
Yeah, no,
They're-
like that is like a
they're-
hard thing to animate.
Yeah.
They're
like-
super like solid in terms of like being on.
Yeah, no,
model.
it's like really, it's
Yeah.
like that's actually impressive animation.
And they're really detailed to the point where they didn't just like quickly mock up models to
Yeah,
trace over.
because it's
Those
also like,
things
well,
are
that's-
yeah.
It's also like, well, we're going to be using this piece of footage like every episode, so we can make it
Yeah.
look really nice.
Yeah, they take the
Yeah.
time for the stock animation.
And it takes up 20 seconds of an episode, which is a lot of time.
Hell yeah, baby. So yeah, we get the Greymon sequence, which is amazing. I have written down as part of the dub thing. I don't even know how to say this. I think Greymon laughs in the dub, and it's like, it's really weird.
I feel like
Greymon's huge.
I feel like for this one you might have to try and splice a little clip in because I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's in the dub. It's a dub. It's not the sub.
Yeah,
Like he
Oh,
he
okay.
has this weird laugh, and I wrote it down kind of. It's very strange. Greymon's enormous because
Yeah.
size consistency is one of
oh
things
yeah,
that
I was
Digimon's always been weird
mention
about.
this in like episode I think 4 because that one's absurd.
Yeah,
Just the they're like, oh yeah, the adult forms are pretty big, but just sometimes they're like a building, and other times it's like, okay, no, they're like a bit bigger than like an adult.
yeah.
Yeah.
So in this sequence, Greymon is probably about 20 feet tall, same size as Shellmon. In a
Yeah.
later episode, he's like maybe 10. So, fun stuff. Greymon launches Shellmon into the air with his horn skull thing, and then does, of course, in
Mega
Japanese, it is
Flame.
called Mega Flame.
Yeah.
In English, it is called Diginova Blast.
What?
Nova Blast is a pretty cool name, I'm not gonna lie.
Diginova Blast is a pretty sick name.
Yeah. I can't lie, I actually do think some of these dub names are really good.
Yeah, no,
moves?
I'm not gonna lie. For move names, I think the dub is and more often than not, I actually kind of like the dub names for the
Same.
attack
Yeah.
names.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, for these changes, it's always just a case of, but why though?
Yeah, like why?
Yeah.
Like why would you change?
Like
that?
I do understand why they changed all the names for the rookies, because it's like half of these are like blank flame, blank fire.
Mhm.
So I understand them wanting to vary it up a bit, spice it up.
I guess I remember just like it's not a hard name to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. After Shellmon is launched into the ocean, Greymon digivolves back down to
and then
Agumon.
and then he's like all
Mhm.
beaten up, and then
Yeah.
Ty's like, "Oh God, Agumon, are you okay?"
He's
you get
dead.
the guy, he's like, "I'm hungry.
I'm hungry.
Give me some food."
So this is another fun fact, actually, that I just remembered because it was from this episode. The name Greymon is actually a mistake, quote unquote.
Really?
Originally, the original proposed name was supposed to be Greatmon.
Yeah, because
But
I
due
think
to
it's
a-
like because it's like Guremon, as in probably
Yeah.
shorthand for great.
Yeah, Gureito. But there was a miscommunication and it was shortened to Gray, and they just stuck with it. So
It's like,
Yeah.
oh, why he's not gray? I don't get it. It's like, yeah,
I remember as a
Yeah.
kid always thinking like he's not Gray though.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Like, I think it's. I assume I assume it makes more sense if you're Japanese and you just kind of vaguely know English words. It's like, oh, great. They
Yeah.
probably just know what they think it means.
Mm-hmm. At the end of this episode, Joe once again suggests scaling the cliff to get back to where they were.
It's
Everyone
just that
calls
easy.
him an idiot. And then there is a freeze frame that slowly gets smaller, and
I love those. Like, I love the to be continued bit.
yeah, Taichi's face in this freeze frame is a bit, not great. I'm gonna go ahead and post Taichi's face from the freeze frame.
Yeah.
That's not so bad.
It could be better, but yeah.
He's got a bit of a little
Eyes are a
face
little
going
off,
on here.
But
Oh, if you're a fan of like that type of like thing where you see like little quality frames of characters, this is the show for you.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Especially
yeah.
for the Digimon.
yeah. Especially
Yeah.
and especially if you're watching like the faux upscaled version of it, because, oh boy,
Yeah.
it's
All
got
I'm
some...
saying is keep your eyes on Patamon.
All right, and that was episode 2. We could probably just move straight into episode 3,
Yeah.
which is called Blue Wolf Garurumon, or in
What?
English, Garurumon.
And
Just
now-
Garurumon.
I wanted it to be Birth of Garurumon.
This
No,
is
it's
like-
just Garurumon.
I assume this will have a bit of this next session as well. They kind of just get into like a rhythm here. It's like, okay, we've introduced all the characters, set everything up. Now we're just gonna have them going from place to place as we just get their evolutions.
Mhm.
Yeah. So this is gonna be like the pattern for the next 5 episodes, right?
Yeah.
4 or 5, yeah. So, okay. Now this is the part where I started hearing the recaps, because this, of course, recap is done by Taichi. So he starts explaining everything, and he has a bunch of funny lines, and then he wraps up the recap with, "Dudes, this place is wild," which is
He's so right.
he's so right for this.
He's not wrong. Yeah.
The episode the episode opens with them all just kind of like looking over a cliff, and Taichi is asking Agumon why he turned back.
I don't know.
Like, why didn't you stay that way? In the dub, he says, "No offense, I like you better as Greymon."
No.
Agumon says, "I don't know why I changed back," at which point Taichi almost pratfalls off a cliff.
Yeah, he's oh god.
And they continue on their merry way. Some Monochromon wanders up behind them. Tentomon assures everyone that Monochromon are very chill, at which point everyone asks, why are they cornering us?
Get ready for Tentomon to say this a lot.
Yeah, he's a nice Digimon. And then immediately they are
Proceed
attacked.
to not be.
Oh, we haven't gone to my favorite one yet. I know
my
what.
biggest
Not in this session, but down the line, the best one.
Mhm.
My biggest takeaway from the Monochromon was if you watched Digimon as a kid, you were definitely like the dinosaurs autism and not Train's autism.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, if it were Trains, that was Frontier. That came way later. That was like 3 years from now.
Yeah, no, but like these are like the most dinosaur Digimon that like exist.
Yes, they are literally just Triceratops with a funny paint job.
Yeah.
It's very funny.
I mean,
And their horns are as strong as diamond.
Yeah.
It literally turns into Triceramon.
Yeah.
This is not because there's a different Digimon called Triceramon, not this one.
That one's bipedal. Important. So in the sub, and this isn't in the dub, for some reason, when the Monochromon start fighting, the chunk of rock gets knocked and hits one in the head. There's a really funny dink sound effect, which is not in the dub. It's like the dunk, which they removed in the dub for some reason. Palmon's the first one to say, "We should run," and they all start running. Cheese it. Takeru trips while they're all running away, and in the sub, Yamato immediately gets down and is like, "Are you okay? Are you hurt?" Meanwhile, Taichi runs over, or Taichi looks back and is like, "Get up, we gotta go." And Takeru's like, "Yeah, you're right," and gets up and keeps going. Which is I think is a very good little kind of peek into the kind of relationship
The
that
plot
Takeru...
of today's episode.
Yeah, and it's like the relationship that Takeru and Yamato have. Like Yamato is very overprotective, and Takeru like doesn't need to be baby.
Yeah.
In the dub, this is removed. They changed the lines to something completely. I don't even know. I think in the dub he just gets up and keeps walking while saying something non-related because we can't have foreshadowing in children's programs. After they successfully run away, Mimi is worried that her calves are going to get fat from all the running they're doing.
I love how this is like one of the ultimate out of context Digimon posts.
This is one of my favorite conversations, I think, in these 5 episodes.
Fatter legs are better, Mimi.
Yeah. You can. Agumon says, but if you have fat, strong legs, you can kick real good. And then Palmon walks up and says,
stretches herself.
You should get plant feet like mine. Plant feet are the best.
She's like, I'd rather not have that thing.
Yeah, I don't want that, actually. In the dub, the first part is roughly the same. She just complains about her feet hurting. And then Agumon suggests she take off her shoes. And Palmon walks up and says, I love the feeling of dirt between my dirt under my feet, especially between my toes.
What toes?
At which point Mimi's just like, gross. And Palmon gets sad about it. Again, the dub hates Mimi. Just absolutely despises her. One of them suggests camping. Mimi is against it. She's so right for this.
Yeah.
In the dub, she says, maybe I can soak my feet. Okay.
That's funny.
Also, one of them says, do you see a hotel here? At some point.
I do.
This is after Gabumon begins smelling water, so they find the large lake. They notice that there is a tram, a perfectly working, powered-on tram, just in the middle of an island.
Yeah.
In the lake.
So else would you find it?
Yeah. So they all rush over to it because they're really excited to have somewhere to sit down and take a rest because they don't want to camp out in the open. In the dub, Taichi says, Mimi, wait, and then is the first one to get on the tram.
Oh.
Which is really funny. And then, it cuts to them all inside the tram talking about various things. There's a bunch of fucking dubisms I'm not going to go over because they're all terrible lines. Then we transition to the rookies trying to get food. Like they're foraging for food for themselves. Tentomon mentions that he found his favorite berries. Then we get Patamon using Agumon's head to steady himself as he fires a boom bubble to knock some nanners out of a tree, which immediately falls
onto onto Gabumon's horn.
Which is very good. And Piomon says, no, we can handle this ourselves. You don't need help. And then immediately fails at trying to rip a fruit out of a tree with
And
her
is
beak.
sad about it.
Yeah. In the dub, she says, "You better watch that killer breath of yours." Hard cut to her going, as she tries to rip a fruit off a tree.
Oh.
They set up a campfire. They wonder how they're going to light it. Agumon rushes up and lights it.
What happened to the solid fuel?
They don't need it. They have a dinosaur that can breathe fire.
Good lord.
Izumi loudly complains to Gomamon that he's scaring the fish away, because Gomamon is, of course, swimming again.
You can just control the fish to be caught, bro. Come on.
But he doesn't do that because they're his friends.
True.
And
You gotta earn it.
Yeah, if you look carefully, the fish that get caught are just the normal gray variety of fish. They're not colorful, so they're okay to eat because they're not Gomamon's friends.
The colorful ones are actually full of toxins.
Yeah, that's why it's an attack. So they light the fire. They get the whole bundle of fish. Taichi attempts to cook a fish by holding it bare-fisted over an open flame. At which point.
Yeah, go ahead.
You can go ahead. I don't have to explain everything. Yeah.
I forgot the names.
Yamato, Matt.
Yamato and Matt.
Okay, it is Yamato. I thought it was Yamato, but Yamato's like, stop that! Yeah. Don't do that! You fucking idiot! You imbecile!
What's wrong with you? Puts a stick on the fire. Very good.
Literal Gordon Ramsay. Yeah.
Also, there is a sequence in which Palmon is explaining good mushrooms and bad mushrooms to Mimi. And then she randomly stretches herself to be like 2 feet taller. After getting praised.
That's photosynthesis. That's how it works.
It's very weird. In the dub, she says both of them are poisonous. And then when Mimi praises her, she says something completely unintelligible. I listened back 5 times, could not understand what she was saying, and then stretches herself.
She's making happy noises.
Right. That was actually before the cooking thing. After Yamato explains how to cook fish properly to Taichi, Taichi says something along the lines of, "Wow, you're so experienced with camping." And in the dub, he says, "Yeah, because I'm the man."
Oh.
Awesome.
And then we get them all eating the fish. Takeru complains that eating the fish is a little difficult for him. At which point, Taichi says, "Just fucking bite into it, dude. You're fine." And he goes, "Okay." And like begins biting into it.
Yeah, it's like, "Do you want me to take the bones out?"
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. Yamato offers to remove the bones, and Taichi's like, "Nah, fuck it, just eat it. You're good." And Takeru's like, "Okay," and begins just chowing down.
Immediately he chokes on a bone.
Yeah.
That Taichi, he loves poking into people's business.
Yeah. In the dub, Takeru says something along the lines of, "Mom only let me eat fish sticks. I don't understand how they eat the fish." And Taichi's like, just take a bite out of it, bones and all, just eat it. Just bite into the head.
Real.
Yeah.
I love a mouthful of fish eye.
Yeah. Dude, we don't need to properly do anything to these fish. We can just make them hot and then eat them. True. Don't worry about like getting the scales off or anything. Just bite into it.
Someone say making fish hot?
Yeah.
Legend of Zelda?
Shut up.
What? You didn't like Sidon?
We don't need to talk about that right now. That's a different topic for a different podcast, maybe.
I'm not doing it.
I know, I'm kidding. So now they start discussing like who should take watch. Oh no, sorry. In between this, Taichi asks Sora why Takeru and Yamato have different last names. I believe this is when they have this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Sora doesn't know, as far as I know. I think because this is why like that transgender don't came up, because like Takeru calls Yamato Oni-chan, despite the fact that They have different last names, so they theorize they're probably cousins, and that's like what that whole thing was about. And then they start talking about like watches and stuff. Joe is looking for constellations. They notice they can't find the Northern Star, so they're like, maybe we're in the Southern Hemisphere. And he says, no, I don't see the Southern Cross either. I don't know where we are. It's really weird. In the dub, he doesn't mention the Southern Cross at all. He just says, yeah, we're probably in the Southern Hemisphere if we're even on Earth, which is a weird thing to say.
I mean,
he's secretly an alien.
Yeah. Oh, we don't need to talk about aliens. In the dub, Izumi constantly talks about aliens. Constantly.
Cool. Okay.
It's one of the character traits they gave him for some reason.
Illuminati, aliens, etc., etc.
Yeah. And then this is when they start talking about who's gonna take watch. We have Taichi sexist moments where he's like, the girls shouldn't take watch because they're girls. They don't need to take watch.
Yeah, in all caps, I just have Digimon sexism.
Yeah. I was watching the dub, and he doesn't say that in the dub.
Oh,
It's fine. It's fine. It makes up for it elsewhere.
Yeah. However, in the dub, he talks about how Mimi specifically is going to attempt to steal Gabumon's fur. So remember when he like starts harassing Gabumon, trying to take his fur?
Yeah.
In the dub, they made him saying that Mimi's gonna try to take his fur, and he should watch his back while they're sleeping because the dub hates Mimi.
But so did they just cut the scene where he tries to take Gabumon's fur?
No, they just dubbed over that scene, except he's saying Mimi's gonna try to do it as he attempts to grab Gabumon's fur.
By the way, please splice in a picture of bald Gabumon.
Please do
Oh,
not.
God damn it!
Do not.
Wait.
Do not subject the viewers to such horrors.
God damn it!
I hate remembering that he's supposed
Just
to be a lizard.
let them find the forbidden wisdom on their own.
Google naked Gabumon to learn more.
Or peeled Gabumon, maybe?
I don't know if you want to Google that.
Yeah.
No, the joke was that you do not want to Google naked Gabumon. Peeled might work though, honestly. Taichi begins harassing Gabumon. Yamato very reasonably tells him to stop doing that and shoves him away.
And then they get like really in each other's face.
Yeah, Taichi is weirdly upset that Yamato was just like, bro, stop harassing my pet, please.
Not pet, friend.
Friend, sorry, yes, they are friends, but your pets are your friends. Do you not consider your dogs your friends? Is that what I'm hearing right now?
Well, I consider my dogs my friends. I wouldn't consider a Digimon a pet. Digimon are like conscious feeling like beings that like can speak their thoughts. If I was like, oh yeah, come over to my house. I hope you're not allergic to Gomamon. And they were like, oh, you have a pet? I would just be like, no, he's my best fucking friend.
He's my partner. He just also happens to be a little seal dog.
I would like legitimately be offended if someone called my Digimon partner a pet.
My apologies. I'm as bad as Taichi.
Yes.
So we cut to Taichi on watch. Everyone's sleeping in the tram. Yamato is of course sleeping like a cool guy, sitting up.
Of course.
He gets a little warm.
Yeah, he is a massive tsundere and tells Gabumon that he's sweating and Gabumon should go warm up with Takeru instead, because of course he wants Takeru's warm and comfortable. At which point he gets out of the tram and kind of heads out. Taichi is just kind of sitting on watch and is getting a little sleepy, and he goes to wash his face to wake himself up. Stepping over the giant, red, vibrant, leaf-shaped object that's embedded in the stone.
Wonder what that is.
He doesn't know. They don't say anything at all. They don't mention it a goddamn time. They just ignore the fact that it's there.
It's probably nothing.
Oh, right, and also when they're sleeping, Mimi is mumbling something about shopping, because, of course, the dub hates Mimi.
Yeah, what? Why wouldn't she?
And then so Taichi, sees Matt and they start talking. This is really funny because even in the sub, Yamato's line essentially boils down to explaining everything in like 2 sentences. It's something along the lines of, "Hey, sorry I shoved you for harassing Gabumon. I'm always like this. Maybe it's because Takeru likes you more. Oh, right, we're brothers. Our parents are divorced."
Well, I'm pretty sure the conversation starts by him going up and being like, "What's the deal with Takeru?" And he's like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah, no,
our
Taichi
parents are
asked him that.
divorced."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like he says like all of this in the span of like not even 30 seconds. Taichi gets like 1 word in.
Takeshi's like, "Oh."
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, I just asked a really loaded question, didn't I?"
Mm-hmm. So now I don't quite remember, why does he walk away in the sub?
He's just going to play his.
He just goes off to like play his harmonica, I think.
Yeah.
Because in the dub, he makes a weird grunt and then runs off, and it's bizarre.
I mean, he kind of does the same in the sub.
Yeah, it was just like I was confused as to like what like why do you do that?
Could be like something just got changed in the script before.
Yeah.
He proceeds to shred on harmonica, just absolutely killing it.
So loud.
Yes.
It's like, dude, people are trying to sleep.
There's a comment on that later in the episode that I made, but
So Taichi is back to doing watch. He pokes at the fire. One of the embers pops out and, of course, lands directly on the mysterious red object, which causes it to start wiggling and wobbling. And Seadramon gets really angry and wakes up. It's a Seadramon, by the way.
What?
Like, it is not a leaf. This one is like not like the Black Gear shit or an evil Digimon. I think Tentomon says it's an evil Digimon, but also like.
No. Tentomon is like, these guys don't usually attack.
Yeah, but he says like he calls it like a virus or a fiend Digimon.
Yeah, I think that was just because Seadramon is a virus Digimon.
Yeah.
And it's just like no, there's no antagonism here. That you just started attacking it.
Yeah. Yeah, he mentions that like they're usually not aggressive unless provoked, and then Taichi and Agumon like, we didn't do anything.
Well, I didn't do anything. And then they eventually realize, wait, that was its tail. You fucking idiot.
Yeah, and Tentomon's like, so it was your fault, you goddamn morons.
They don't even say sorry. They're like,
no.
"Oh."
They're just like, oh. It's like, we don't know. The entire island that the tram is on is attached to Seadramon's tail, so he starts dragging it through the water. They still do not know the tail is attached to the island at this point, by the way. They're really confused as to what's happening. Yamato is on the opposite shore. He jumps into the water with no plan at all and just starts swimming. Gabumon mentions something about not wanting to get his fur wet and then jumps in anyway. In the dub, he mentions something about being stinky. At this point, everyone else has woken up. Yeah.
Wet dog smell.
Yeah.
Wet dog smell.
At this point, everyone else has woken up, obviously, and they head outside, and they all start trying to, throw various attacks at Seadramon. This is another instance where Poison Ivy is very funny because Palmon walks up as Poison Ivy.
Palmon tries to attack and you just see it not reach.
It just kind of not reaches and kind of limply falls to the ground. Fucking fantastic. All I wrote here is, Taichi, come on, man, don't be a dick. I don't remember why I wrote that.
I know, I think this is when you find out.
Yes, yeah. And yeah, they try to just kind of not blame themselves, even though it's 100% their fault.
Yeah.
Yamato at this point has reached the island. Takeru falls into the water, and Gomamon...
And Yamato immediately jumps in to save him.
Mm-hmm. Gomamon immediately, gets Takeru underneath him, and Yamato's like, get him back to the island.
And he's like, Yamato, like, Gomamon, get him out of here. And then Yamato gets, like, just immediately yanked to the bottom by Seadramon.
So he has a plan. He has a plan, Momo. And his plan is to say, over here, and then start swimming the other direction. And he immediately begins drowning because it grabs him with the tail. Yamato is being held in the air. Oh right, Gabumon is standing on the tail when it gets freed from the island, and as he's flying away, because he gets like flipped off and like gets flung to the other side.
Mhm.
In the dub, very dissonant in the background, you can just hear him saying, "I hate this." It's really good.
He hates this.
I hate this. So yeah, Yamato is now being crushed to death in Seadramon's tail. Everyone is attempting to do things. Patamon, I think, says, "My powers don't work."
No.
It's like, oh, I can't hurt. No, like, Takaru goes up to Patamon, is like, Patamon, do something. And Patamon's like, what do you want me to do?
What can I do here? Our powers don't work. I think at this point, Gabumon has like flashbacks to Matt playing the harmonica.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In
and
the-
it's like, if I can't hear that awesome song again.
Mm-hmm. Like, man, that harmonica shreds though. Like, in the dub, he says, "What's a little stinky fur compared to a friend?" Which is when he begins digivolving.
Honestly, true.
It's so true. So in both versions, as Gabumon is being rotated, or no, it's after he's rotated, and it's when like the flare
Yeah, you hear him
graphic.
scream, Yamato!
Yeah. In the dub, he also screams Matt, but it's a lot quieter and sounds way worse.
Man.
It's just like in the background, you hear him go, Matt. It's really good. And then, of course, we get the introduction to Garurumon, name unchanged for some reason. Really thought that would have been ones that changed, but nope.
It's like, because that's literally just Japanese for wolf, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Garurumon like leaps forward and kind of cuts at Seadramon's tail, which frees Yamato, and then begins biting into Seadramon's body, and then he almost drowns because Seadramon knocks him into the water.
It's almost like a dog is fighting a sea serpent in the water.
He runs it back, though. He's a pretty
Yeah,
good
He brings
swimmer.
it back.
He resurfaces and begins swimming away.
then,
Seadramon
like,
attempts to chase him, and
He like takes some shots at him, but they all bounce off him.
yeah, as Seadramon's attempting to chase him, Garurumon's tail pokes Seadramon in the eye.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
there's a bit where like Sidron starts shooting at him, and like the attacks just kind of bounce off him, and it's like and then Tentomon's explaining, oh, Garurumon is like, his fur is as strong as the legendary Mithril.
Yeah.
And then it's like Ty's like, Mithril, what's that? I don't know.
Yeah, and then Tentomon's like, I've never seen it. I have no idea.
It's
And
real
someone just
legendary.
has like
though.
a Digidex built in, and it's just like the little like guy plays in his head, and Tentomon's like, I'll just repeat
I
this
forget
out
if it's
loud.
this or a scene or a different one, but there's like a point where Taichi just goes, you know, Tentomon, I can't tell if you do or actually, or
Yeah,
whether you do actually know a lot.
Yeah, that's in response to him being like, I don't know, I've never seen it. Really good. So Seadramon begins firing its in the dub it is called Ice Blast. They don't officially name it. Tentomon just says, that's Seadramon's deadly Ice Blast attack. In the sub it is called Ice Arrow, which you only know because it's on the info screen when it pops up, because Seadramon
No,
talk.
Tentomon says it.
Oh, Tentomon says Ice
It's like,
Arrow.
oh,
in the
he's
sub?
like, oh, it's his
Yeah, he
special move.
does.
It's like, it's his finishing move, Ice Arrow.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yes, that's renamed to Ice Blast in the dub. And Gurumon's just kind of like chilling, being covered in ice slowly. And then he retaliates by firing his Foxfire, which has been renamed to Howling Blaster in the dub.
Foxfire's cooler.
Yeah, I actually kind of like Foxfire better. The Foxfire overpowers the ice arrows and then envelops Seadramon's entire fucking face.
Oh, he just dies.
Yeah, Seadramon,
He like coughs up smoke.
he's
God.
probably dead.
Don't worry about that.
They-
Now they have
The
food.
whole plot of this episode is they like bother some random innocent Digimon that had no interest in like doing anything to them. They go, why did this Digimon attack us? And then they proceed to brutally murder the Digimon for
That is-
attacking them.
Yep, that's exactly
Yep.
what happens. Anyway, it's morning now. There's like no
Mhm.
real transition, it just hard cuts to it being morning. I don't know if like the fight took all night, which it kind of seems like that's what happened, I think, because everyone passes out again afterward.
It took a while for it to burn to death.
Doesn't
Yeah.
Gomamon push the island
Yes.
with marching fishes?
Yeah, we
first,
get
though?
marching fishes again. He pushes the island back to where it was.
This show would be so much shorter if they did not have marching fishes.
It's true. They would have died like
Yeah.
episode 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Digimon if there was no marching fishes.
Although theoretically, if Joe was desperate enough, it could have just been an instant evolution to Ikakumon.
Imagine Joe is the first one to get his champion instead of the last. Well, no, Takeru's the last one, but
Yeah.
that's special circumstances.
Takeru doesn't count.
Yeah.
He's special.
He's a special boy.
Also, after Gabumon defeats, or Gurumon defeats and goes back to being Gabumon, Gabumon says, "You're the man," at which point Yamato responds, "And you're the wolf man." Just wonderful.
Good for them.
Now that it's morning and they're back on land, Mimi immediately passes out in the dirt and everyone talks about how she's growing. Agumon says she'll keep growing and evolve next, and Piyomon says maybe she'll get wings.
And she's like, I really hope not.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't know if I completely forgot to mention it, but like earlier, I think it was episode 2, but like when they're talking about Patamon flying and he's like super slow and Piyomon goes, I'm faster.
Oh yeah, I'm faster,
wow.
I can do it better, and then she immediately falls like, oh, never mind.
Damn it, yeah,
They're
I
like,
had that in my notes.
You're just as slow as Patamon, and she's like, oh.
Oh. Yeah, they both fail miserably at attempting to fly. In the dub, while it's doing the wide shot establishing that they're on the beach now, there is of course a line which is targeted at making Mimi seem insufferable.
Oh,
because of course there is,
Yeah, of
where
course.
she says she wants to use Gabumon as a pillow and she promises not to steal his fur.
No.
Okay.
And that is just a line that is added in the dub because, again, the dub hates Mimi. And then Yamato and Takeru are over. They're kind of away from the group, and Takeru's like kind of passing out, leaning on Matt. Matt starts playing the harmonica. Taichi's really weird about watching them from behind a tree. And, like,
Here's my comment. Imagine this: you're sleeping next to your brother. You're really deep in sleep, and then suddenly you just hear the loudest harmonica ever directly in your ear.
It's like, how does he sleep through that?
He's used to it. This is something Yamato's always pulling this shit.
In the next room over, you just hear Yamato full, like the neighbors are like, "Can you shut the fuck up, please? Stop doing this at 1 a.m."
Yeah. And the episode ends with a kind of weird zoom in on Taichi smiling.
He's like,
All right, and that's episode 3.
Yay.
2 more to go.
Yeah, episode 4.
We're making progress.
Yeah. Episode 4 is Red Hot Birdramon, or in English, Biyomon gets firepower.
What? How does that sound more awkward than the translated name?
It's fucking so bad. It's so bad, dude.
Just like the rest of this episode.
Oh,
What?
Oh
God.
wait, we're only at the beginning. I forgot. Uh-oh.
This is the singular episode where I have the dub hates Mimi written down more than any other episode.
Really? I like this. I mean, really? I like this episode.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
I really hated this one.
Why?
Because Sora's not a very good character and she kind of sucks throughout this whole episode. Because they decide to like kind of try to speed run her interactions with Piyomon like immediately.
I hate how she's so chummy with me.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
just
think
like,
I just realized I don't think we've mentioned Sora at all in the past.
we haven't because she doesn't fucking do anything.
I mean, that I agree with. I'm like, I don't know, this was fine.
Like all the baby like Pyokomon. It's Pyokomon, right?
Pyokomon, Yokomon.
Mhm.
Yeah, all the baby Pyokomon are like really cute, but
Yeah.
Well, I
I
guess
think
we'll just, yeah.
Yeah, part of the reason I might hate this episode is because the dub of this episode is like particularly bad. Like,
Right.
this is basically a different episode.
I can imagine. I mean, I don't know.
yeah.
It's like I thought the show with like Piyamon was alright, and then like the situation is also just funny.
Yeah. No, I can understand. Yeah.
Yeah. I do think this episode has some good stuff in it.
I think it's the weakest of the set we watch, but like
Fair.
I'm jaded because of the dub. Like, if I'm ever really annoyed, 90% of the time it's gonna be because I also watch the dub and it's fucking terrible.
Yeah, makes sense.
The recap is done by, of course, Yamato, and he ends it up with saying, "Now that's cool."
Oh.
Cool time.
The episode opens with our first shot of the black gears. We are finally being introduced to them. In the sub, they make plane noises as it's flying through the air.
What?
Yeah, it's making like an airplane noise as it flies through the air in the sub.
Oh no, it's like a helicopter noise.
It's
Even weirder, actually.
Yeah.
Well, wait, what do you mean? You watched it in the sub?
Yeah, like you heard this.
Oh, wait, in the sub?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the spinning gears making like a chopper noise.
Yeah. It sounds like a jet engine. It's like a, and then in the dub, it's like it's just a better sound effect. I can't really like make the sound effect, but in the dub, it is actually a better sound effect for it because it doesn't sound like weird. Izumi keeps talking about fucking aliens in the dub. Like he just keeps mentioning them. I don't know why. This is consistent, so I'm not going to talk about it anymore. But just know that Izumi's constantly talking about aliens. Takadu nearly falls off a cliff by accidentally snapping a vine he's standing on. Everyone is kind of like, checking if he's okay. He says it hurts a little, and then Patamon is immediately, if like at this point, starts freaking out, asking if he's okay.
Oh no! Everyone's like, "Why are you asking now?"
Yeah, like it's a bit late for that, don't you think? Piyamon, for some reason, mentions a bunch of killer bugs and stuff when someone asks if it's going to be safe in the dub. Don't know why. And then I have the note, oh, look, Piyamon and Sora are interacting after 3 episodes. Neat. Because we are now finally having a conversation between Piyamon and Sora.
So Piyamon goes into like overdrive. He's like, "Hey Sora, hey, check this out, Sora."
Piyamon is very, very affectionate and clingy. Which,
and then Sora, I don't know, cause like you're like, I don't know, cause you're saying like, oh, she's being so mean, and it's like she's not even really being that like, I don't know, hostile. She's kind of like, am I really? She's kind of like, I don't know if I can really get along with a Digimon like this.
I think there's like a later point in the episode where
there's a point where she gets like a little snippy, but then she's kind of like, oh, never mind.
Oh,
she's like immediately like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, I think I have a note that says something along the lines of Sora emotionally manipulates Piyamon, which is later in the desert. But yeah, so they like Piyamon's being very clingy and like, oh, you're my best friend, I love you, yada yada yada, and Sora's like internally being like, this is a little overbearing, I think. This is gonna be a bit much, and she like kind of like, you need to tone it down a little bit. Like, don't be 100%. You need to like kind of scale it back a little bit. In the dub, this is just a completely different conversation. Literally just a different conversation. Sora is a different character. It is unreal how much this episode in particular has been changed. Like, I can't even quite remember what the dub specifically is talking about, but it's like a nothing conversation. It's so bizarre. It's genuinely very strange.
We are not establishing the relationship. We are just we're just making. This is just time for funny jokes.
Yeah, it's literally just them making jokes over and over again.
I guess that's also why I think it's part of what part of why I like their setup, because like it's something a bit different from the usual, because like so far most of the like pretty much all the other Digimon and their partners just kind of get along right away. So I kind of like this one for like, there's a little bit of friction before they start seeing eye to eye.
Yeah, Joe got over his aversion to Tokomon real fucking quick.
Yeah, like he stopped being afraid of Digimon, well, regular like small Digimon immediately.
The black gear slams into a mountain, and the sound effect is cut off. The scene transitions before the sound effect is done playing. Joe is convinced there are people here because otherwise how could these structures be here? The signs and the structures and the phone booths and
Digimon
everything.
have hands, Joe.
Yeah. I wrote another note saying the dub hates Mimi. I don't
Well, what she
even
do now?
remember. I don't even remember what the dub line here was. But yeah, I assure you it was bad. Oh right, this is at this point. Right, sorry. At this point, they're walking through the desert.
Yeah.
So in the sub, I believe they're just like it's just like long kind of shots of them just like walking along the side. Like they're not really talking. I don't think much here.
They're just a little bit, but not a whole lot. No.
In the dub, they never shut up. They are constantly talking, making jokes, saying random bullshit. Mimi is saying something about her feet hurting or wanting to go shopping or like it's oh God. I was like losing my mind trying to watch this fucking episode in English. Once Joe is like constantly convinced there's people here, Tentamon calls Izumi aside and is like, I think Joe is insane.
It's like I keep. How many times do I have to say there's just Digimon?
What does he not understand?
He's hoping.
Koshiro, I'm gonna be real with you. I think we're gonna have to kill this guy.
Damn. So at this point they remember that Mimi has a compass, and they yeah. Don't worry. We'll get to how the scene has been changed in English.
Mimi pulls out the compass, and immediately they realize, wait a minute, it's just spinning randomly, and they're like, what the hell? And at which point Koshiro he's like, wait a minute, this isn't sand. It's iron. Oh, I forget what you call it. Iron
Ferrite?
dust.
Yeah. He says like there's like iron mixed in with all the stuff, and so it's
all shaved iron.
Magnetic. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the dub, Mimi pulls out the compass, and she says, and I quote, "All the heat melted the numbers right off this watch."
What?
Okay.
And then it starts spinning, at which point everyone like, Mimi, that's a compass. Like,
What?
I'm going to kill.
That joke doesn't
who
even
made
make
this up.
sense. She said it was a compass before.
Yeah.
I know. They hate this woman. They hate this girl. They fucking despise her.
They might just hate women in general.
True. I actually think Saban just hates women. At least teenage girls. So after this, Mimi screams to the heavens. She's so right for this. In both dub and sub, she just starts shouting into the heavens about how frustrated she is. Because, true.
Yeah.
Sucks.
I would too.
Yeah.
And this is the point where we get the second interaction of Piyomon being like weirdly clingy, and Sora at this point kind of snaps a little bit at her,
Just
like a little snippy.
It's like I'm tired. It's like I'm stuck. I'm dying of dehydration. Can you please leave me alone? I'm not having a good day.
And Piyomon gets really, really sad about this.
And she's gonna be like, "Oh God, fine, you can cling to my leg."
Yeah, which is why I wrote Sora. I was like, Sora quite literally emotionally manipulates Piyomon for some reason. Fucking love bombing her after telling her off. In the dub, like this episode is just a different episode. In the dub, they're complaining about the heat, and Sora like gets a little mad about the heat, and Piyomon reacts negatively to that for some reason. At which point Sora says, "Pretend it's raining or something." At which point Piyomon's like, "Oh, that sounds like fun," and gets all happy and skips up next to her.
What?
I don't know, dude.
This genuinely starting to feel like just like they could like at certain points the scriptwriter just got bored and is like, what vaguely matches the timing of this scene?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a different episode. I have a really bad feeling that like dub Sora specifically is going to be like almost insufferable as it gets later on in the season because
they just one of those we just took out her character, all her character.
I mean, dub Mimi is of course terrible too, but that's not her fault.
I mean, like at the very least, that's like the same character. They just it's cranked it up to like obnoxious levels.
Mm-hmm. And like constantly gave her extra dialogue talking about shopping and shit when she doesn't. I don't think she ever mentions wanting to go shopping or loving pink or anything in the actual song.
I don't know about definitely not like the
I think
pink. I think maybe she mentioned shopping once in the first episode, but that's about it.
And then and then she's like, "I wish there was a mall."
It's like
so at this,
it's like she's not. It's like they've just made her brain dead in the dub.
It's so bad. It's so bad. So at this point, Taichi pulls out his trusty mini telescope and notices a village on the horizon. Joe makes a joke about them having water and maybe some lemon and ice too.
What?
And my note for this is just Margaritaville.
Yo, 10%.
Yo, we're gonna find Eddie Burback in the Tokomon village.
Let's fucking go.
What Digimon would Eddie Burback have?
Oh god.
He's right. I think he's a Tentomon guy.
Yeah.
Tentomon?
Yeah, like a typical.
I feel like that's a Tednificent Digimon. I feel like that's a Tednificent Digimon. I feel like Tednificent would have.
No, I think he'd be with Patamon. He's full of whimsy.
Eddie Burback would have Digimon because of the mustache and beard.
Oh my god! And no, he would have Digimon because also the what's the guy's name that made Margaritaville?
Oh, Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah, he'd name his Digimon Jimmy Buffett.
the File City Margaritaville. So
we need to someone get in
touch. There is an episode
with...
like that, isn't there?
I think there probably is. Yeah.
Anyway, so like there's like a really good visual gag here. So like Taichi like uses his like telescope and he's like something's right. There's a village over there. And then we're like, okay, let's go. So, and then it hard cuts to the village. And then they realize, oh, that wasn't him just seeing something far away. The village is just tiny.
Yeah, it's really, really small. All the little thatch huts come up to like their knees at best. And the village filled with Tokomon.
I adore Tokomon.
Yes,
what a funny little creature.
Very good baby design. Oh, right. There's also an insert shot of the Black Gear slamming into Marimon's chest.
Yeah, it's like,
back rather.
Back, yeah.
Am I the only one bothered that Tokomon evolves into Piomon and not
Almon? I was gonna mention this at one point.
Yeah, same.
Tokomon's like a plant thing, but then
like no, not only that, it has the exact same plant that Palmon has.
I always thought that shit was weird.
Like Tanemon is like very clearly a plant, but like it's come on.
It is what it is. We're too late to change it now.
That's like 20 years too late.
24 years too late.
Yeah. I rounded down, don't worry about it.
And all the Tokomon are just like, whoa, these people are crazy.
Yeah, are these Digimon are like what kind of Digimon are these? And Piomon has to explain that these are not Digimon, they're things called humans.
I think this is actually one of my favorite little bits in the show so far, is like this bit where everyone's just hanging around the village doing stuff, and like Sora's just kind of sitting behind a hut, and she's like just listening in on Tokomon, like it's just talking about how like much he likes her, and like just how like neat it is to be hanging around people, and like she just kind of smirks, and it's like it was a really cute little moment.
Yeah. And then she says something along the lines, or she thinks something along the lines of, I wrote down, this bitch is soft, how can she say she'll protect me?
It's like, I don't know, she's got it in her. But yeah, because she's like thinking about like, okay, so that's, because there's a bit where they're like, I think we missed it in like an early episode where they're like, so that's how, I think it's at the start of this episode where they're talking about like, how did Gabumon and Agumon evolve? It's like, when we were in danger, they powered up. So it's like, could Piomon do that? Nah.
Yeah, I was wondering how it works with them being like confused as to how they evolve. Like, can Digimon not evolve without a tamer or something? How does that work?
They can.
The lore for this is different depending on what series you're watching.
But
Ooh,
yeah, and this
okay.
is just kind of like, I assume it's just like after enough time you just permanently evolve, but that's like a,
I see.
with the tamer it's like a temporary power boost.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mhm.
specifically mention in like I think it's the second episode that they're like we never managed to evolve until now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like they're aware that they can evolve. They just like they don't know like the method to it, I guess, or maybe because it's they're the Digimon, the Digidestin's partner, that they were never going to evolve until they got there. But
I feel like typically it's like they naturally over the course of their lifespan they evolve, which makes more sense with the Japanese names for the stages because it's
Yeah,
you know,
adult.
baby, child, adult,
Yeah.
and then perfect, which implies that it's like the perfected form, and then you go into ultimate, but that's like, you know,
You're not supposed to know about that.
and then super ultimate, but you definitely should know about that.
But yeah, no, that's just like a thing of like they're just like they're not like properly evolving, they're just like temporarily like going over the limit.
With the exception of becoming the child form. 'Cause
Child.
that's like them.
That
properly
just
growing.
don't think about that one.
Yeah.
It's like by that rules they probably should just go back to being babies, but whatever.
And they occasionally do when they overexert themselves, so.
Yeah.
So they talk about how they get fresh water from Miharashi Mountain. Quick quiz. What did they change Miharashi Mountain's name to?
I don't know.
Did not tell
please
you.
tell us.
Mount Rushmore.
Trick question. They didn't change it.
Oh.
It's still called Miharashi Mountain for some reason.
That's the other classic fucking Bandai Digimon thing where we're just gonna pointlessly change all these things. But then sometimes we'll just leave this in Japanese.
Yeah.
Yep. I in a row I have Marimon explodes, the fountain explodes, the well explodes.
It's such a boom, boom. It's like really funny. It's just suddenly boom.
Like,
See,
yeah.
Marimon in this episode is like the definition of the one vine of the guy going, my main goal is to blow up,
and then act like I don't know nobody.
Nobody.
God. But yeah, so
I
No,
love the
continue.
bit where they're like, okay, so like they're like, oh shit, all the water's gone. But then they're like, oh well, we might as well check anyway. So Taichi throws a bucket
Yeah.
down, and you just hear a clunk. And for some reason, I just laugh pretty hard when Yamato just goes, pull it up anyway.
yeah. Because like they throw it down, they hear it, and Taichi says like the word out loud. He's like, bang, and then Yamato's like, no, pull it up anyway.
Mhm.
So he pulls it up, and there's just a singed rope at the end, and then the well explodes. It's so fucking good.
Pretty good.
In the dub, they make a rain dance joke. Of course, Mimi makes this
Oh.
joke because
Of
Mimi has
course.
to be a racist too. Because of course she does.
No, she's just really into Gen 5 competitive Pokemon.
God damn it. At this point, Marimon begins descending the mountain rapidly.
Oh, this is like the funniest fucking bit. He just keeps yelling burning over and over again. It was like, oh yeah, that's Marimon. He's coming
Huh.
over here.
Yeah, that's weird. He
What's
usually
he
doesn't come down
doing?
from the mountain. That's so weird. And everyone's
He
just like,
sprints across the desert. It's so funny looking.
so I'm not gonna lie. Like, the dub is unintentionally very funny here. Because rather than just screaming like burning over and over again, in the dub he's screaming, I'm burning, too hot. And then one of them goes, he's crying. And then he says, and I quote, you're gonna need more than sunscreen to stop me. Just wonderful lines here. And then they're all just sitting there staring as like they see the forest erupt into flames and they're just like, is he coming this way? And then he's running across the desert and they're like, I think he's coming this way. And then Taichi's like, we should run.
We should get out of here.
In the dub, they of course make a joke about this by him saying, everyone freeze. And then they're just totally silent. It's like, we could just stand here. Okay, unfreeze, run. Meramon is laughing maniacally as he runs to burn down a village of children,
Yeah.
just sprinting across the desert.
As you should.
Yeah, of course. They start leading all the Pyokomon into the hollowed out ship that was in the lake that is now dried up. So they're like getting them to safety, and there's way more fucking Pyokomon than they made it seem like there was. There's like hundreds of these little bastards.
I would say thousands.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
There's a lot. Yeah.
So yeah, they're all like funneling them in. Sora notices that Pyomon is up on the top of the cliff for some reason.
She's leading them to the. She's just making sure no one gets lost.
I guess in my mind I was like, how could anyone get like? Isn't this right next to the village? How do they not? Well, whatever. But yeah, she's like at the
everyone's
top.
panicking and rushing.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's at the top, like directing things.
Yeah.
And Sora's like that goddamn idiot trying to save her friends. What a moron! And then
why
like
it's like you like look after yourself.
yeah,
I gotta go help her.
Mm-hmm. And as she's running up, she's screaming like, "Come on, get down here!" And it's just like, "Oh God, look behind you!" And there's like a horror scene shot of Meramon slowly approaching.
Oh, it's like all from it's all from like a distant shot,
Yeah.
and then it's just like this like low frame animation of Biyomon going waving her arms,
And then Meramon just slaps her.
and then she like just starts tumbling down the hill.
I shit you not. In the dub, they added a clown honk to the slap.
No way.
Yeah, they
God.
did. They added the little like the and then she like tumbles.
Also, this is where like the size inconsistency starts going insane.
Oh my god, yeah.
Because like all the like Sora checks on Biyomon, and she's like, "Oh, thank you for looking out, protecting me," and like they're like be like, "Oh, you care," and then all the other Digimon are like jumping in, like, "Oh, we gotta help out," and they start blasting Meramon, but he's just absorbing their power and getting bigger and bigger.
He just keeps growing.
They fucked up.
Yeah. At first, Pyomon attempts to like get up in Meramon's face and like spams magical fire over and over again, spiral twister, whatever.
And he just goes ha ha ha.
Yeah, and then immediately hits her with the burning fist in the face, which is called just fireball in English.
Mhm.
In the dub, Sora is just like Pyomon, and then she gets down on her hands and knees. So I'm just like, oh, Sora has just accepted that Pyomon is dead.
It's over. It's over.
It's
It's
over.
so much over.
Jawarida. It's fucking over.
But yeah, and then all the rookies jump in and try to do spam, and he just keeps getting bigger.
And then Biyomon's like, finally, no, I gotta get back up there. Sora's counting on me.
Mm-hmm.
And then she finally gets her Digivolve.
Yeah. Which Pyomon's Digivolution sequence is more complete than the other ones
Yeah,
for
she gets the
some
full
reason.
one. Yeah, I guess maybe, I don't know if that was like, they didn't have time in the other episodes, or they're like, actually, we'll add this a little bit to the sequence.
Yeah, because like the next one doesn't. It's only Birdramon so far gets the little insert shot of when like the beam is coming down, like they get the little flash of Birdramon on the screen,
Yeah.
and then
And
it
it's-
transitions into the.
So, like, then we get Birdramon, and I don't know how big they wanted Birdramon to be, but however big she's supposed to be, it's definitely not this big.
You didn't know how big Birdramon was supposed to be, and neither did they.
Because she comes off, like, giant. She looks like she's as big as the village.
Mhm.
The perspective shot they use of Yamato and a bunch of the Yokomon sitting on the ship does not help. Because, like, they're in the foreground and they look really tiny, and Birdramon and Meramon are in the background and they're fucking enormous. So it makes them look, like, way too big.
Oh yeah, and all the Pyokomon are hiding in like a ruined ship, and it's like, oh, that's really neat looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really nice little set piece. In the dub, Birdramon's making a scree noise constantly, just like always making
that's
this
a little
weird,
funny.
making this
Yeah,
weird
he's like,
screeching sound.
"Ah!" It's like, oh, For some reason, I remember like Birdo going, "Oh, I have to protect Sora."
Yeah. At one point, Meramon screams, "Have a ball," and throws a fireball. And then the solution is hit him with more fire.
just
And
fucking.
it works.
It does work.
He hit him with
Just
the
just get the overflow.
Yeah.
If you
And
give too much fire, it becomes no fire.
the gear just pops out for some reason. It just pops out and it explodes. I tell you the English name for Meteor Wing, but she doesn't say an attack name in the dub, so...
I forget, does Meramon even say anything after the fight's over? Because she just leaves.
No, he's like, all the Yokomon are talking to him like, why the hell did you do that? And he explains like, oh, I don't know, I was just hanging out and then a gear hit me and that's the last thing I remember. Yeah, because he's supposed to be the guardian of the village. So that's why they're all just like, wow, he's coming down, that's weird. And then at one point they're like, oh, this is bad, we should run. In the dub, Sora says to like, every time I'm in danger, Piyomon comes to my rescue. And I'm just like, what the fuck are you this has happened once. Unless you're talking about the one other time it's happened?
I mean,
really,
it's true. She has.
It is
like,
true.
I guess it's technically true. It's just a really weird line. That feels like it would be like the Garudamon episode line or something. Or like later. Then they have a good feast in the village and everyone eats seeds. It's like bird seeds.
So right for that one.
In the dub, only Takaru and Yamato actually eat the seeds. Everyone else refuses to. I don't know why they changed that. Joe says
weird.
something about it being bad for his stomach or whatever. Or he says, I can't eat on an empty stomach. That's what he says. Mimi mentions wanting to go home. She's so right for this. And then in the dub, Sora says, for being so little, she sure has a huge heart. That's the wrap-up line for the episode.
So cute.
All right. And the final episode for our set. I forgot the last image here was Stretched Palmon. Episode 5, Electric Shock Kabuterimon. Or, in English, Kabuterimon's Electro Shocker.
That's great,
okay.
man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
At one point during the recap, there's a shot of Meramon, and there's just a very dissonant happening. I don't know why. So they're continuing their journey to wherever the hell, because they don't really have a goal.
Yeah.
They decide to take a break because everyone's complaining and tired. And Izumi is trying to use his laptop. Koshiro Izumi. I guess I'll say Koshiro because that's what they call him.
Yeah.
There's
actually
I think people know what you mean regardless, so it's fine.
Yeah. He's trying to use his laptop and it's just not turning on. Taichi immediately walks up, grabs it, and starts violently smacking it because hitting technology always makes it work.
It's like, stop being such a dick, Taichi. He's like, I don't, what's the problem here? It's like, oh, do you want me to just run up and start smacking your things? Also, shoutouts to Izzy's bootleg laptop, where it's like, instead of an apple, it's a pineapple.
Yeah.
It's really good. Sora in the dub says, too bad your brain isn't as big as your hair. In reference to Taichi's smacking things to get it to work.
Okay, I see. Yeah, that makes sense. True.
Also, hitting it worked because it suddenly turns on. Koshiro does a note that the battery is dead, but it is still on, which is bizarre.
Ooh, a mystery.
Yeah, it's weird. In the dub, they don't mention the fact that it's dead, just that it needs charging, quote unquote.
It's close enough. Yeah, I feel like they can interpret that.
In the sub version, we get a pretty good sequence of establishing first of all, Taichi discovers this fucking factory.
Yeah.
On the edge of a cliff. He's like, whoa, what the hell is this? And he calls everyone over and they start looking at it. And then so they just kind of decide to go down and check it out because that looks like a very human structure. Yeah.
Yeah.
There might be people there.
I adore anytime like the Digimon shows like use like a factory or like a man-made structure type thing. It always looks really neat.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love the more industrial settings they use. In the sub, we get these really cool, like, I called them factory ASMR shots, where it's just
Mhm.
establishing shots of the factory where it's just like the sound effects of all, like the
Putting things
machinery.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the dub, these kids never shut the fuck up. They are constantly talking over all of these. So annoying. They're looking at like all the weird things they make, and the factory just makes thingamajigs. It makes gizmos. We don't know what these things are. We don't know what they do.
It makes them, then unmakes them later on, and it's yeah.
This is a factory that constructs that thing that killed Shinzo Abe.
They should make more of those.
Yeah.
True.
No, the official stance of the podcast is that was a tragedy or whatever. Who cares?
Who cares?
Or whatever. Who cares?
So they begin to, explore more of the factory. They split into two groups for some reason. I don't actually think they explain why. They just do.
It's just to
Actually,
cover
they
more
kind of split
ground.
into 3 groups. I
Eventually.
have a note on that later.
Yeah.
Eventually, yeah.
Mhm.
For now, Koshiro's group finds the power room, which is literally,
It's literally just a big battery.
yeah, a giant AA battery.
Mhm.
That he proceeds to go inside. Oh, this is also the first time he says prodigious in the dub.
Of course.
So because it says the word digi in it.
Yeah.
You get it?
Do you get it?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Do
like
you get it?
they're like hanging around in there for a bit, and then everyone's suddenly like, "All right, we should look around a bit more." And then, Koshiro's like, "No, you just let me stay here. I want to check and look at this thing more."
Mm-hmm. So does he go inside the battery immediately?
No, I think they do. So we get the other group first.
Yeah. So Taichi, Sora, and Joe find a dead robot just on the ground.
And they're like, "That's a dude," and I'm like, "No, it's a Digimon." And they're like, "Of course, it's a Digimon."
Of course. At this point, I believe Gomamon mentions the fact that Andromon is
A friendly.
yes, he is friendly, but he is also more evolved. He specifically mentions that he doesn't mention that he's
Perfect. But
perfect
he's like
level or
even
ultimate
more
level.
evolved.
Ultimate.
Yeah, he just says even more evolved. Yeah. The dub, of course, does not mention this at all.
Hmm.
They do not mention the fact that Andromon is a perfect / ultimate level. Because of course they don't.
Mhm.
While they are attempting to pull Andromon out because his like lower body is stuck in a bunch of machinery, Taichi somehow manages to fall backwards, somehow manages to knock into the controls, which somehow turns on all the machinery, which somehow dislodges a black gear, which goes into Andromon's leg. Fucking Ruberg Goldberg series of events that
Roofberg.
This was
Yeah.
all This was all the plan of the Dark Gears.
Clearly.
and also this somehow frees Andromon and they're able to pull him through.
Oh wait, you made before he like wakes up or anything. They're like, "Okay, is he dead?
Yeah.
Hit him or something." And then Tyler's like, "Well, he's a machine. We hit him." And everyone's like, "Stop it!" And then Agumon hits
Agumon-
Get
him.
some help.
And then Agumon immediately dings him in the head, and everyone's like, "Bro,
What?
you kidding?" And then they're all just like talking like, "Why would you do that?" And we get the vision of Andromon like waking up. He immediately grabs Sora by the ankle and fucking yanks her into
It's
the
like,
air. Kill.
And then we get like, okay, so here's something. Here's my favorite part. Is that it, like you get like the little like blurb, like little file thing with the Digimon. It's like, "Oh, this is Andromon. He's a perfect Digimon. Here's all like his stats and stuff."
Yeah.
And then like the narrator goes, "He is like here's his exact words are, he is said to be the strongest among Digimon."
So
Cut to
funny.
them
Is it
immediately immobilizing him by dropping some beams on him.
They did not know what they were doing at this point. They were
Really
flying by the
didn't.
seat of
He
their
is said to be
pants.
the strongest Digimon.
He is the strongest.
I realized this episode that shout out to the hit movie Barbie now in theaters. Joe is just kind of just a Ken. Like he's
I haven't
I
seen
don't like
Barbie,
what
so I
this.
have
I
no
do not
idea
like what
you
you're
mean.
implying for Joe here.
He's Ken.
Okay.
He's not. You'll get it eventually.
I'll get back to you
Okay.
in 2 days once I've seen the movie.
Hell yeah.
I don't like what you're implying for Joe here.
Why not?
Well, you've seen the movie.
Correct.
Um.
You like horses?
Okay,
Horses?
we're gonna move on.
Anyway, so they come like at that point, like eventually they come back to Izzy or Koshiro, and he's in the battery, and he's like, oh, that's weird. There's no actual electricity here. It's a bunch of writing on the wall, and then he accidentally removes some of the writing, and then it makes all the power go out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So before it actually transitions back to Koshiro, sorry, Andromon uses one of his moves, which Spiral Sword, which has been renamed to Lightning Blade in English. And the first time he uses it, he says Lightning Blade, hoorah! And then he
Hoorah.
throws it.
Did they go try to give him like a military thing?
He only does it the one time. I don't know.
Then never mind.
Why?
And yeah, this is the point where Goemon's like, he's a good guy, I promise. And then, Taichi does the really clever thing of saying, hey, aim for those like beams on the ceiling, and manages to immobilize Andromon. And then we cut back to Koshiro in the battery, where he, accidentally turns the power of the entire factory off.
Yeah.
At this point, it's one group is actively getting hunted by a murderous Digimon. One group is going on what is essentially a museum tour
Yeah.
of Shinzo Abe's death machine.
Oh yeah, so I think Koshiro gets like the power back on by just drawing in the.
Yeah, and then the third group is Koshiro and Tentomon, both being
Fucking
autistic
around.
inside of a battery.
Yeah.
In the dub, he calls it a stroke of metallic paint, not a marker.
Okay.
Even though it's very clearly a fucking marker.
I think this is the point where him and Tentomon start having like the little conversation.
Yes.
Mhm.
When it briefly cuts back to Yamato, Takeru, and Mimi.
Yeah, because they're
In the sub, Mimi's like, maybe these machines can reverse time or like body swap people. She's so right.
which was probably some reference to some old Japanese thing. I don't
Yeah.
know.
In the dub, she talks about needing a tour guide. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Because again, like, Mimi is like, what, aside from Sora in the previous episode, I don't think a single one of Mimi's goddamn lines stay the same. Right, I also forgot to mention, in the previous episode, there's this really cute thing where Palmon complains about being hot, and Mimi immediately offers Palmon a hat.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. I love the bit where she
love
gives
that- I
Mimi
love
your
that
head.
I love that moment. It's really, really cute. They actually didn't change that much. That stayed pretty
Nice.
consistent, in the dub,
Okay.
surprisingly.
I don't know how they would have been able to change it
yeah.
anyways.
Yeah.
Mimi could have been like, "Oh, this hat's so heavy, you take it for me."
Just goes, I bet you wish you had a hat like this, don't you?
So at this point we cut back to the group being hunted by Andromon. This is before the Koshiro with all the programming stuff happens. They say maybe he can't see us.
Yeah, it's
And
like,
then
oh, we're gonna
it
sneaky, and then immediately everyone's like, sighted, kill.
Yeah, it immediately cuts to his vision where he can see them. In the dub, rather than translate any of the dialogue of them being like, if we're quiet and we walk carefully, he might not be able to catch us. Instead, they just make a joke about the fact that they're standing still. Taichi's like, all right, maybe we could just not move. Yeah, we'll just sit here. We won't move. That'd be silly. Why move? Ha 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 ha. And then it cuts to the view of them actually moving, and they get attacked, and then he screams something about moving. Fucking hate it,
Okay.
though.
Awesome.
Genuinely
Cool.
borders on like a bridge series jokes at some
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, it does. And then this is when we cut back to Koshiro fuddling with the computer to
Yeah.
kind of analyze the programming of the inside of the
Like,
power
and he's like,
source.
why do you care about all this stuff, Koshiro? He's like, well, I like to learn more about like the things around me and people. Like,
Yeah.
I want to know more about you guys. And he's like,
Mhm.
oh, that's weird. I don't really care about that. Do you care? Do you care about learning more about yourself? And then he just kind of Koshiro gets very serious looking, and he has a flashback.
He has a flashback about being adopted.
Yeah, because Yeah, it's him spying his here overhearing his parents. Like, can we tell him? Is he too young? Is he old enough to know that? And I do like that's like something I think I kept making a mention because you kind of get a bit of that with like the whole divorce thing with Yamato.
Yeah.
And, like you get like I kind of like how like it's a good part of like how quickly they just get into the digital world. Like you know barely anything about these kids.
Yeah, you know
They
their
got,
names
like,
and how old
these
they
little-
are. That's it.
Pretty much.
And it's like oh, they got some like real shit going on back home.
Yeah.
It's not like,
Yeah.
super like dark or anything, but like, kid problems. Like, oh, my parents got divorced. Like, how do you deal with that? And,
They've got some real relatable issues going on.
yeah.
Yeah, like me and my baby brother live apart from each other, and that's a little
Yeah,
hard to
yeah.
deal with, so I don't know how to act around him. Or I found out I was adopted before I was supposed to, and it probably fucked me up a little bit.
Yeah.
So
think
shockingly
that's-
enough, this entire exchange is pretty much left intact in the dub. They don't change this.
Huh.
That's surprising.
The flashback is like almost translated directly. Tentomon is just like, what do you get out of learning these things? Like, are you interested in learning about yourself? And that's when Koshiro has the like PTSD flashback. About being
Oh, yeah.
adopted.
Wait, so do they, I forget, do they keep in the dub that Yamato's like, well, my parents are divorced?
I actually don't even remember. Oh, wait, hold on. I wrote a note because I think they literally
Because that feels
Right.
like something they would remove. Especially
Yeah.
since
Yes.
it's explicitly about a divorce.
yes. In Yamato's case, in the dub, they have completely removed the character trait of him
Right.
caring deeply for Takeru, but being like embarrassed to show about it. He literally only refers to Takeru as like a twerp or annoying
Mhm.
in the dub.
Oh, because
That
he's
aspect
too
of his character
cool.
is just gone.
Now
Yeah,
he's just
he's just too
too cool. Now he's just too cool
Yeah.
for everything.
Yeah, that aspect of his character is literally just gone. It's
That-
really bad.
Really sucks, yeah. Like that's a pretty big thing to just get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Yeah, that
anyway, back to
Mhm.
Koshiro's just like, all right, so I'm gonna start being a hacker man.
Fucking reverse engineering
Yeah,
the code that makes up the world.
yeah, we're gonna see what we can do here. At which point, this starts making Tentomon like burn up. It's like
He
make
begins
it
burning
stop.
alive. It's hot.
Just been
It
setting on
burns.
fire.
And then Koshiro's like, okay, so I think I understand how this shit works now. So he like goes to link up with everyone else.
Mm-hmm. There's like a weird. He gets like a 3D map of File Island, which showing
Yeah.
like the factory.
Yeah.
Also, the
I'm
tour group has discovered the other part of the factory where it takes apart the
Yeah.
machines,
they're like,
and
Yeah.
there's really gross suction noises being played.
Okay. So I had a brain blast when it was showing like the 3D model of like the island. I think that's like the like precursor to Koshiro like finding out that literally everything is data. Like he's like, oh, I
Yes.
get
Yeah.
it now.
Yes,
This is the digital world.
that is the moment he realizes like, oh my fucking god, this is all programs and they're alive.
apropos of nothing, I like. Isn't it neat how characters other than Taichi are important?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
so crazy.
Like low key, this is one of my favorite episodes just because I love Koshiro.
Mhm.
Easily my favorite character out of the main cast.
That was
Yeah.
not directed at anything in particular. Don't worry about
No,
it.
no, not at all. We'll get to that in like 2 years.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really funny comparing when we get there.
Yeah.
Oh boy, it's gonna be
I
funny.
feel. Whatever. We'll get to that later.
Okay, we'll get to it. So at this point, we cut back to the group being chased. They are on a bridge, and Andromon like exits the door, and they all just fucking jump off the side and are hanging onto the railing to dodge one of the spiral swords.
Yeah.
At which point, Taichi drops down onto a crane and proceeds to brutalize Andromon by shoving the hook into his back and hoisting him into the air.
And
Awesome.
then he like immediately just gets back. He's like, okay.
Yeah, it gives them enough time to get away for a second.
And that's when they finally
Uh,
link up with everyone else.
Yes, everyone links up. Koshiro is like, Koshiro talks about, yo, everything is data. It's like everything's data. Yamato points out the fact, like, this factory makes nothing. It's just putting things together and then taking
It's
them
like,
apart.
I don't
Mhm.
get it. That's stupid.
In the dub, he says something else, and all I wrote is, what the fuck is Yamato talking about here?
It's totally red, dude.
I think they just replaced his dialogue with total nonsense. Like, absolute nonsense. At which point, the three people that were being chased by Andromon finally come out onto the roof, and they're like, we gotta get out of here. Andromon's here. And they're like, what? And then he proceeds to bust through the fucking floor in a horror movie shot between everybody.
Awesome.
It's so good.
And then, so then obviously fucking Greymon and... They bust out Greymon and Garurumon and they try to beat him down.
Yeah.
Okay, this is also... This is another big size inconsistency moment.
Because, like, Andromon's maybe 2, maybe 3 times as tall as the kids. Like, the tallest one. And Greymon and Garurumon are the same size as Andromon, roughly, when they should have been, like, triple his size from the previous episodes.
No, they're like they are. No, like there's that bit where they all jump down to fight him, and they are that big, and it's like I don't think they're supposed to be that big.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Awesome.
Andromon fires the Gatling missiles at all the kids, which in English is not given a name. He just says missiles fire. And then
I think it's Gurumon swats them out of the way.
Yeah, he destroys one of them, and then the other one produces the Gatling gun and starts shooting at the other group, at which point Agumon digivolves as well. Garurumon gets teched as he tries to jump onto Andromon, and Andromon just judo throws him into Greymon. They both use their signature moves. Andromon just like literally dissipates them by hitting them. And at this point, Sora says, maybe because he's all machine, it's like he's digivolved far beyond other Digimon.
What the hell does that even mean?
What does that mean?
Dude?
I think that's supposed to be them bringing the fact that he's ultimate level, but it's bad and doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I do actually, now that you mention it, I do think there's like a weird thing that dub tries to push where the machine Digimon are just naturally stronger or something.
Yes, because like we get Metal Greymon and then there's Metal Garurumon. It's very
like
weird.
Metal Edamon, and there's like the whole thing where like he becomes a cyborg, and
they just have this weird obsession. The dub is just like, oh, cyborg Digimon are the strongest. Andromon grabs Greymon and slams him into Garurumon like a hammer, which is
it was pretty
great.
sick.
It was a really good shot. And then I'll let Leon
describe what happens here.
Yes.
So what happens next is Koshido's like, oh wait, let's do the thing that we did. No, I think it's Tentamon is like, let's do the thing you did earlier, Koshido-han.
The program.
The program. Let's run the program and write a bunch of nonsense code that like is real coding stuff, but like not together. And so Tentamon then evolves into Kabuterimon with the power of autism. Of course.
It's so fucking funny. He's just like, he starts burning alive again, but then he's like, no, wait, I feel the power surging through me.
It's like, oh, it's going.
And then he digivolves into Kabuterimon. In the dub, the way he says Kabuterimon is like, Kabuterimon.
Like at this point, I'm gonna finish, sorry.
No, that's it. It's really funny.
It's like, I'd actually like partway through this conversation, it did make me like realize something. They kind of, I feel like they also like, they kind of like tease like the whole crest thing like really early on with all these evolutions.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like Taichi triggers Agumon evolving by screwing up to Shalmon. Yamato makes Gabumon evolve by like help sacrificing himself for a friend. Sora does it by showing concern for Biyomon.
Yeah.
And then Izzy does it by, you know, package knowledge.
Brute forcing it through technology, yeah. Kabuterimon's cool as shit. One of my favorite champions.
Yeah, he's
It is.
big bug.
It's so fucking cool.
Awesome. Awesome design. The first thing he does is slam his face directly into the floor.
I do
It's
think,
like-
in terms of
it's
the
like-
crest,
Mm-hmm.
I think they should change it from the crest of knowledge to the crest of autism.
I don't think they're going to do that. I feel like there's the potential
This
for
whole
this to be
episode- this
interpreted
whole-
badly.
Yeah.
This whole episode is Koshiro like finding something that he really enjoys and like just goes all in on it. It's just him being able to be fully autistic the entire time, and I love that for him. And no one's making fun of him for it either.
They're all just
There's,
celebrating.
I mean,
the
yeah,
fact that
there's
he's
someone just like, yeah, you do you, man, whatever. I'm gonna go look around here.
Mhm.
Kawaterimon is somehow holding his own. I don't really know how.
He's like he's doing hit and runs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe suggests finding a weak point. So Koshiro starts like scanning, and he notices that there's a weird thing about Andromon's leg. So he
And it's like zap his leg.
yeah. So he tells that specifically. In the dub, they say power source instead of weak point. His power source is in his leg. Weird.
Well, I mean,
Awesome.
the dark gear was in there, so I guess that's true.
Mhm. Mega Blaster has been changed to Electroshocker, of course. And he hits the leg once and the gear pops out. Just one
also,
shot,
there's
baby.
also like right before he does that, he's getting like chased by like missiles, and then he like
Yeah.
swats them away. It looks cool.
I
Yeah.
will say they like make especially in the sub, like we mentioned, like they make a big deal about this being like a further evolved Digimon, but then it only takes a less evolved Digimon to like defeat him by shooting him. I think it would have been cooler if like Garurumon and Greymon were both like, oh, let's help Kabuterimon,
Yeah.
and like
Mhm.
hold
I
him
mean,
in
they
place
don't
or
even
something.
really. To be fair, they don't really beat him. They just knock the gear out
That's
of
true.
him. And he's
Yeah.
like,
This is true, but like I don't know.
And he's
That's
ba-
just
He's
I mean,
basically
yeah, that would
like
have been neat, but
unfazed
like
by
you
it.
know, they don't really. Yeah, he just kind of gets up immediately.
Like, sorry,
That's
children.
fair.
So yeah,
Sorry,
and,
children.
yeah, and then
I'm
he
sorry, woman.
he starts talking to the kids, and he essentially says, "I don't fucking know what all that was. Sorry."
It's like I do not answer your questions. Now please go enter the sewer.
Yes, into the sewer with you, children.
There's definitely not anything bad in there that will harm you next episode.
No, of course not. Takaru begins asking Koshiro to force Patamon to evolve with the program.
it's like
And,
okay.
Yeah, and then the laptop dies.
Why wouldn't it?
Taichi and Agumon immediately attempt to once again hit it to make it work, but Koshiro skillfully dodges out of the way, and they hit each other. And that's where we
I've got-
basically end the episode.
I've got a
Deserved.
good screenshot of that.
Good, yes. Throw it
Where
up
is
there.
it? There it is.
That in there.
I
Very-
love how Agumon looks here.
Yeah,
Big
he's such a
head.
good face.
And like right as they're closing out the episode, the narrator's like, "Little did they know, Koshiro's computer would be the most important item
Yeah.
ever."
The
Yeah.
data. So I'm pretty sure they're referring to the fact that he has
The
like
secret-
the 3D map now.
Like the secret to unlocking this, the key to unlocking the secrets of the digital world.
Yeah, it's fucking
Yeah.
phenomenal. Just like really good stuff. But yeah, there is one last thing. Like as they're entering the sewer, Mimi says the dub hates her. That's it. The dub hates her. The dub hates her again while they're
You
entering
don't
the
have to
sewer.
say any more beyond that.
We know. We understand.
We get it.
Yeah, I think at this point, like going forward, I'm just gonna like chime in with the dub hates Mimi. When it
I
does
feel like at this point, I first saw probably only like anything of note.
Yeah. Past here, I'm not going to like be specific unless it's like entire character traits or episodes have been changed, because that's like, are you kidding me? Levels of stuff, and then name changes. I'll consistently
Or
talk
notably
about.
bad lines.
Yeah, yes, notably bad lines too, because those are always fun. But yeah, that'll wrap up the first episode. We did it. We got through it. It only took almost 3 hours, which is,
That's pretty.
It
That's,
took a
Have
while.
fun editing this.
Have fun
Uh,
editing this, yeah.
You think I'm gonna edit this much? Nah.
You
Oh boy.
Just slap through.
I need
just slap
to- at least a
these,
little
these
bit.
MP4
Well, yeah,
files
no.
over each other.
Yeah. I'm adding like a little the fade in
Mhm.
fucking stuff, and yeah.
Give the viewers the fucking naked Gabumon jump scare.
I'm not doing that. You gonna do our outro for us, Momo?
Give us a melody.
I don't know the full. I don't know the full. I can't do the full melody. I just know those. I know the lyrics more.
So the next recording session and the next episode roughly should be in roughly 2 weeks. The day we record these on is not going to be consistent because we all work in consistent work schedules. So
Minecraft, baby.
Yeah, so in roughly 2 weeks, and we'll be covering episodes 6 through 10. And that's pretty much it. So we'll see you all next time.
Bye bye.
Bye, gamer.
Goodbye.
Bye, DigiDestined.
Good first episode.
Thank you for watching the DigiVerse DiveCast. I don't really have anything to actually shill at the end of this. So instead, how about you just go into the comment section and tell me what kind of animal you think Terriermon is based off of, just as a survey.